Yeah, so the objectives of this training is pretty much a PMP certification training. So the objective is to prepare you to write the PMP exam. So everything that's required to know, that you might see in the exam, we're going to cover it in this training. It's pretty much an exam-oriented training and not a practical workshop or something. No, it's pretty much exam-oriented, please note. At the same time, I would expect that the concepts that you learn here, you will definitely learn some concepts. You're able to go back and apply some of these in your projects. So these are the primary objectives of this training. And the agenda for the training here, these are the topics we're going to cover. We'll start with this PMP certification journey. I tell you here about the certification. What's the eligibility criteria for the certification? And then what is the step-by-step process? How do you apply? How does the exam look like? What to study? How much to study? Everything about the certification. We'll begin with that. Many of you may be aware of most of these, but still I won't take a chance and speak about it. Next, we'll move on to the business environment. He will learn the project and its environment in which it operates. So basics, what's project management, what's program and portfolio, what are the various life cycle models, who are stakeholders, organizational structures that can influence project management. These stuff we will learn in the business environment. Once again, you might know many of these basics. We'll see how they have been defined in PMBOK. And then we'll move to the 5 areas of project management, as in initiating a project, then planning, executing, monitor project performance, and closing. So that's the order we are going to cover the topics. Yeah, okay. One thing could come to your mind, where is Agile? If you're aware of the certification, there'll be lots of questions on Agile. That's true. That's not separately talked about. Agile is all along. It's included as we move on. So we'll be speaking about all Agile that you need for the PMP certification. Some ground rules. Questions are welcome anytime. Okay. So feel free to ask questions, and your mics are all enabled. So whenever you got a question, you can unmute yourself, ask a question, and request you to mute yourself back. So after you're done, so as to avoid any kind of, noise disturbance. Chat is also fine if you want to raise questions through chat, but just that I won't have a constant watch on the chat window. Time and again, I'll keep checking. But yeah, so I encourage you to ask questions, just speak up, but I'm not close to chat. That's about it. Okay. Of course, you would respect the viewpoint of others, I'm sure. We'll keep the discussions to the point. And doesn't mean I discourage questions or discussions. So as to, we have a huge syllabus to cover. So you can ask any kind of questions. I'll try my best to answer as many, but we'll try to align as much as possible, to the curriculum. Breaks, by the way. So we're going to have one break. We have people from different time zones here. So the session is in all 4.5 hours long. And we're going to place the break exactly midway. So it's like 2 hours we'll have, and then we'll have a 30-minute break we can take, and then we come back and resume the next 2 hours. Okay, so it's going to be placed right in between. I hope that works. Yeah. Very well. Okay. So let's get started with the first one, PMP certification, everything about the certification. So here I'm going to talk about the certification journey, the application, PMP application, how to fill it, how does it look like, what information is required to be furnished. Then we speak about the exam format and retake and renewal of the certification. Very well. So coming to the prerequisites for the PMP certification or the eligibility criteria, there are just 2 of them. One is 35 contact hours of formal project management education. This is number 1 prerequisite. And yeah, so this is anyways met for you all as you are sitting through this training. You will be given a certificate. We will issue a certificate stating that you have acquired these 35 contact hours. Okay. Yeah. And then coming to the only other requirement is project management experience. So now how much of experience? So 3 years of project management experience, 3 years. Within the last 8 years, please note. And when I say project management experience, let's understand this better. What would qualify as project management experience? Please note, this doesn't mean that one has to be a designated project manager or your role has to be project manager alone. We could have that experience in a role other than project manager also. So what would qualify is you should be able to showcase that you manage a project end to end. So that means that you were a part of initiation of the project. Thereafter, you planned the project, you executed or implemented it all this while, and then monitored the project, monitored and controlled, and finally closed the project as well. So having experience across these 5 areas is that's like end to end, right? This would qualify as project management experience. And please note, that this doesn't have to be on a single project. It can well happen that, say you were a part of the project that lasted 1 year. Fair enough. So you'll have to add more projects to make it 36 months or 3 years. It could be on a single project or maybe 4, 5, 6, as many projects required. Okay, so you can go back and count on the last 8 years. So it's like, say, I am say filing my application on, let's take a date on say 15th September 2023. I can go back and count on my experience since 16th September 2015. So within the last 8 years, any 3 years of your choice, need not be continuous note. You say, way back in 2020, I did a project, but in 2021, I was not into projects. That's fine. Don't talk about 2021. Again, in 2022, say you got into a project, count on that. So all we need is 3 years of such project management experience. And last thing I wanted to add here. So when I say project management experience, your role, again, doesn't have to be project manager alone. One could have this experience in a role other than project manager also. Like, say, I was associated with the project as a business analyst or a consultant, a scrum master, a team lead. Again, this is not the exhaustive list, a few examples. I think I'll pause for a while here and check. Anybody got a question, or anybody believes that you do not have the experience, or if you have a question with this regard?
I have a sorry to cut you, sir. I have a question. So I do have experience, but that's not related to being a project manager, so I wanted to know if the PMI institution, if they're going to go ahead and do the employment verification, do they reach out to the employers that, hey, was he employed like on this position, on that position?
Okay, Dilaver, did you mention during your introduction that you were working as a project coordinator, or I did get it wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like IT project coordinator. That's I've been doing
yes.
for a couple of years, and I have a master degree as well. So that minimized experience. I think in that case, they require 2 years, right?
No, 2 things here. Okay, first of all, Dilaver, coordinator experience is most welcome. So coordinated experience is very good project management experience that is pretty much acceptable as a eligibility. All right, from that perspective. That's one thing. And by the way, who said master's 2 years? No. Okay, I must also include, I said 3 years of experience is required, but that applies to anyone who holds a bachelor's degree, any bachelor's degree. Okay. And if somebody doesn't have a bachelor's degree, say a diploma holder, a high school, intermediate, whatever, even they can go for the certification, but then the experience increases to 5 years and not 3. Okay, just in case you don't have a bachelor's degree. By the way, masters, no discount. Masters also, the minimum requirement is 3 years or 36 months, even if you have a master's experience. Right. Yeah. So again, going back, Dilavar, if you have a follow-up question on this, you can. But if coordinated experience is fantastic, that would be acceptable.
No, it's all good. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, welcome.
And Debasish, I used to work. So currently, I'm working as a project manager, and I have approximately 1 year as senior project coordinator. But prior to that, I was working as in something which is like a workforce planning role, wherein my role was majorly around who will be assigned on the projects, planning things, and then making reports out of things, and so monitoring and other things I was doing. Yeah, it was not specifically related only to one project, because yeah, you were doing it on multiple things. So will that be considered? I mean, the planning engineers, does that experience go into project management, or it doesn't?
Can work if you don't have any other experience, you'll go for that. So this is as good as saying that in some project you don't have experience across all the 5 areas. So 1 or 2 are missing, but say you were involved in planning and execution, maybe monitoring, it's okay. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, but at least one of the projects you should be able to show that you managed it end to end, that
Yeah,
will
so
work.
for last 1.5 years, I can definitely show, because that's
Sure.
when my role was completely into project management.
Mhm.
However, prior to that, I was a planning engineer, so I have worked for approximately 5 years as planning engineer.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, that's fine. Sumit, you raised your hand. You got a question?
Yes, so DJ, I just wanted to check, though my experience was quite mixed in past 5 years, like Scrum Master plus project management related activities I was doing. So PMP, do they validate? How do they understand that whether whatever data I am giving is true, or like what is there?
Sumit,
Will they
I
reach
get
out to
the
any
question.
recommendation? Yep.
I get the question. Allow me to park it. I'm coming to that in a short
Yep.
while.
Yep.
Okay, we'll come to.
Thank
Okay,
you.
very well. I'll move on. So this is the prerequisite. We'll understand how does PMI validate and all in a while. Then let me now take you to the PMP certification journey. Here's the step-by-step process to get PMP certified. Let's look at that. The first step is acquire 35 contact hours. You have already initiated this by attending this training. And then come to the next step, fill PMP application form. All right. So that's the next step. You have to create a log, go to PMI's website, create a login for yourself and start filling up the application form there on PMI's website. Now, let me speak a little bit about the application form. What all information you need to furnish in the application form. First of all, basic details, your name, your contact details, your educational qualifications, they would ask that. And then finally, your project management training also, they'll ask that detail. And the most important part now, they would ask you for your project management experience. Okay. So this is where you got to declare your project management experience, that 36 months or 3 years I was talking about. Please take a note. This experience is a self-declaration. So you do not provide any evidence of this experience. You just claim that you have that experience. All right. And that whatever you claim here is subject to audit. We'll come to audit in a while. So let me talk about the application form, what all information you need to furnish there. One moment. Okay, so they would ask you these basic information for each project, please note. I hope you appreciate for someone, it may be you worked on a project A and a project B and a project C, you spend 15 months here, say 12 months here and a 10 months here. Now that put together makes it 36 months, more than 36. Yeah. So now for each project, you need to provide these information. So what all information? Project title, what is the name of the project? Whatever Alpha, Charlie, whatever name you state that. Then they would ask you the start date and finish date. In the date also, they ask you for month and year. So you say the project started August 2020 and it finished in, say, July 2021. You enter the dates and the template, would automatically, it will calculate the months and show you 12 months. Okay. So you keep adding. Yeah. So that's something you provide next. Next, it will ask you what approach or method was used for delivery. Was it predictive, traditional, waterfall, or was it agile, or was it a blend? These are the values in the drop down. You select whichever applicable. Just in case you're not very clear about what these approaches are, don't worry, we'll be discussing these in great details during the training. Then team size, there's a drop down to select what is the team size in the project, 1 to 4, 5 to 9, and so on. Select whichever applicable from the drop down. Then the budget. The budget is in USD. Roughly, they don't ask you for precise numbers. Once again, there's a drop down to select. Was it up to $1 million? Or was it in the range of 1 to 4, 5 to 9, and so on? You select. Now, these are all basic information about the project. Whatever it is, they don't determine whether you are qualified or not. Now come to the most important part, project description. Here, you provide a write-up or description of the project in this in 200 to 500 words. That's the recommended size. This is the most tricky part. You have to do justice to this section. I'll guide you what makes a good description or a write-up. So in this write-up, you can start with a couple of lines or maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 lines about the project. Okay, so very briefly. And then you can end the write-up with what is the ultimate outcome of the project. Outcome was, you say, like whatever product the project build was successfully deployed in operations, it helped achieve these benefits, something like that. Okay, what was the ultimate outcome? And the remaining space, you use to state what you did in the project. When I say what you did, I mean the write-up should include a couple of lines, on one moment. Yeah, you should have a few lines that suggest that you initiated the project. Likewise, there should be a few lines indicating that you planned it. Similarly, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing. That makes a good write-up. Okay, I'll show you a sample. One moment. Here's an example of a sample project description. How should it look like? There's no one way. There's just one example. So you see, okay, very well. So see, you started up about the project, couple of lines. Develop a RAP management tool for a travel management company. The customer wanted to move from an existing RAP management tool provider and develop its own tool with additional features. Okay, very simple description. Done in 2 lines. If you want to make it 3, 4, 5 lines, is okay, but not make it more than that. Then let's move on. So saying I was appointed as project manager for the project. Okay. And here, look, develop project charter. Then analyze the current RAP management tool being used, facilitated focus group meetings and brainstorming sessions with customer teams, conducted interviews with key personnel using present RAP management tool, and created the requirement documentation. Okay, hold on. So it's mixed up. So this part would be develop the charter, capture the need of stakeholders. This is actually initiation. All right. And this part, creating the RTM requirement traceability matrix, you build a prototype, okay, to get feedback. Then ranked or the requirements are prioritized. This is all planning. Okay, this all is planning. Even this one, preparing a work breakdown structure, schedule, cost. Okay, all this is planning. So planning is covered. Then come to next, acquired project resources using WBS and assigned work packages to the team. That's execution watch. And the project ran on Agile Lifecycle model, monitored overall project execution, quality, evaluated variances on the schedule. So that was execution, in fact, done. This part is monitoring and controlling. Okay. Evaluated variances, right, on a weekly basis, manage communication with stakeholders. So this one is execution again back. So monitoring is covered. Then the final deliverables were compared against the RTM to ensure delivery of every functionality. User acceptance testing was conducted. So this part is again, the monitoring. And then the last one, deployed RAP tool at customer site, a formal sign-off was obtained, customer satisfaction survey was conducted, a final project summary report was prepared and circulated. Look, this is closer. So this makes a good write-up. Okay, so good write-up would look something like this. All the 5 areas are covered. Sumit, you raised your hand. I'll just take it once.
Yep. Yeah, go on, TJ.
Yeah, just I'll show you something and then. So if you look at now, when we say initiation, please note, I said, all areas should be covered. That's ideal. In some project, if you don't have one of the areas, it's okay. It's okay. So please note, initiation, there are a lot of activities. It doesn't mean that you should have done all of it. So what's required is you should be able to showcase that you did 1 or 2 of them. That would suffice. Like, look, if you want, I'll share the file. Here's an example of typical initiation activities. If you did any of these, that's initiation watch. You define the benefit, you prepare a business case, you identify stakeholders, understood their influence, high-level requirements you determine, you identify the constraints or assumptions. That's all initiation. Agree project goals with sponsor, define the success criteria, develop charter, a high-level estimation if you did for time and cost. Define initial project organization, define the acceptance criteria with the stakeholders, define the exit criteria for the project. Okay, so long list. I'm not reading it all. So these are typical initiation activities. I repeat, you don't have to do all of them. You should be able to show that you did 1 or 2 of them. That would suffice. Likewise, I'll show you others. Before that, I think there are questions. Let me take up. Sumit, you raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Yes, so DJ, for example, if someone joined the project in between, like project is already in a running state and then person started working as an execution phase, so will that be considered as experience to write in?
Yes,
Okay.
it's okay. So their initiation would not be there, but some of the project you should have the initiation. If you say in none of the projects that you are counting on you initiated, then you do not meet the prerequisite.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Likewise, planning.
Sorry, sir. I have one quick question. So, do they
Yes.
reach out to employers that just to make sure that that person was there or not? Like, do they?
No, question parked. I'll come to that, Dilavar, in a short file. I'm getting there. Okay.
All right.
Take a note of it. Daniana, yeah, you want this file? Sure, I will share this file also right away. I'll share it. Yeah, this could be helpful when you're filling your application form. You can pick up ideas from here. Okay. Likewise, I'm not running through all of it. Long list of planning activities, Again, lots of planning. Doesn't mean you should have done all of them. Similarly, execution task and all. I'm not reading them. By the way, this would be very clear to you what is planning, what is initiation, execution by the end of this training. Anyways, it would be clear. And I'll share this file with you to give some idea. Okay. This is good. We'll move on. You wanted this file, right? I'll just share it right away with you in the chat window. Yes. Okay, I've shared that file in the chat. It's just going, yeah. Very well. So coming back. Okay, then back to the step-by-step process. So we learned filling the application form. And then once you have done with the application form, I told you, you got to fill it online. You submit. You click on submit, then a message would flash. It may rather, when you click on enter, your application has been picked up for audit. So this is where you get to know whether your application is going to be picked up for audit or not. Please note, audit is based on random sampling. So there's no criteria. That's what PMI says. So it is pure random sampling. And audit is very less. If you ask me, What I see is maybe 1 or 2 applications in 100. What the official information that PMI had shared last was around 5% of applications they pick up for audit. They said we see audits very, very rarely. Okay, that's the first thing. But however, there is some probability of audit, no doubt. So what happens in case of audit then, let me tell you. Okay, let's get to that. A lot of people had a question. So in case of audit watch, what would happen is, see, you remember for every project, you provided this information. Where is that? Yeah, this information. Yeah, you provided that, this much of information. So what PMI would do, they will translate this. This write-up is also there. You know, the last part I talked about. PMI would translate this to a PDF and share the link with you. You got to go to that link, download the form. Let's call this form as experience verification form. And what does it contain? Your own words. Okay, you have stated them. Okay, the form contains that. And below the space for somebody to check agree or disagree and sign it off. So point to be noted. So in case of audit, what is required is you have to get this experience verification form signed by somebody credible in your organization. When I say somebody credible, maybe your reporting manager or any credible person, any key stakeholder on that project, okay, would check, agree, and sign it off. So doing so means the person is certifying that, yes, this lady or gentleman has the experience as quoted above. So here you get a lot of people had a question with regard to this. Please note, even in case of audit, they won't ask you for any kind of experience letter, or they won't ask for any project artifact or any other evidence, nor will they entertain should you want to share. All they need in case of audit is this particular form has to be signed by somebody credible in your organization. I hope we have answer to the question. Okay. Budit, you raise your hand. Go ahead.
So DJ, once we we upload the application, then after that, we take a sign of our project in charge or project manager.
No, not required.
So,
I told you not till it is audited. If your application is audited, then only. Yeah.
After after someone mentioned is the audit purpose,
yeah,
then we have to take the sign of the line manager of whatever the project in charge.
Right.
And then we upload the file again.
Not upload the file. You will share that through email. Okay, you will share it with PMI. PMI will send you a notification. Your application has been picked up for audit, and they'll tell you all detailed steps to be done. And this is what they would ask. You would share it there. You don't reload your application.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. So in case of audit, I repeat, they would ask you 3 things as evidence, by the way. 3 things. One is the form that I just talked about, which has to be signed by somebody credible. And 2, a copy of your degree certificate. You would have stated in the application form, I'm a master's in business administration, or whatever your educational qualification, I mean. So copy of your certificate as an evidence. So that's 2. The first one was that experience form that I just mentioned. 3, copy of your 35 contact hours certificate. That is the one you received for this training from us. You will receive a certificate. So that would be evidence that you attended this training, which is one of the prerequisites. So these are 3 things you submit in case your application is picked up for audit. Okay. I hope you're clear about the audit. Anybody has a question on audit is welcome. If this is done, I'll move to the next steps. Very well then. Okay. The next step, you pay the exam fee. So that's the next step. So after your application is accepted, then you would pay the exam fee. The fee is directly payable to PMI. And here's the fee. You have 2 options when you're going for the certification. One is you can be a paid member of PMI and pay the fee. The other is without being a paid member also you can. If you do not be a member of PMI, this is the exam fee, $555. It's in USD. Okay. And for members, there's a discount. But then membership has a cost. $139 you pay to become a member of PMI, a paid member. And if you look at the cost of certification, being a member is some cheaper. 139 membership and 405 the discounted exam fee, which totals to 544 you see. So $11 less. That's why I strongly recommended that you be a member of PMI. Don't go for this one, I mean, add the membership to your cart and then the PMP exam and pay together. It would be $11 cheaper. Number one, that's one. And there are a lot of other benefits of membership also. A few other benefits are there of membership. You will have access to the members area of the website. There are a lot of recorded webinars and all. You can go through them. Okay, they have an e-read section. So you have access to a lot of books, and project management. You can read them online. Yeah, you get a discount should you buy something from PMI. You want to go for another certification tomorrow, you get a discount there as well. So these are other benefits of membership. Even if you discount them, the advantage you get in the exam cost itself justifies. So this you can pay directly to PMI. So after you make the payment for the exam, the next step, schedule the PMP exam. So now options that we have. Please note, PMI has outsourced PMP exam to Pearson. You may have come across Pearson View. Pearson is an examination institute, right? So PMI has outsourced PMP exam to Pearson. So Pearson has a presence across the globe. So you have to schedule it somewhere and take. There are two options, by the way, for scheduling. One is you visit Pearson Center and write the exam there, their premises. That's one option. The other is you can write the exam from your home. I mean, online proctored. So from the comfort of your home office, you can write the exam. Okay. So choice is yours. The fee is same, the exam is same. If you're comfortable reaching out to the center, feel free. And if you don't you want to write from your home, you can. All right, all the same. And how to do the scheduling? Pretty straightforward. You would log into PMI's website, go to your dashboard. So once you have made the payment, there'll be the option schedule. Just click on schedule. It will take you to the Pearson's site and you see slots available. Please note, you can write the exam any day of your choice. The exam is available all 365 days a year. You can even choose you want a morning slot, an afternoon, an evening slot. There are a lot of slots available. Whichever you feel comfortable, go ahead and book that. So this is how you do the scheduling. And of course, after you schedule, you study hard, take mock exams and all, and write the exam, then celebrate. I'm going to speak about what to study and how much to study. We'll come to that separately. Otherwise, here is the step-by-step process to earn the PMP credential. Is there a question by now? Okay, all good. Very well. Fair enough. I'll tell you what to study and how much to study. Before that, let's have a look at the exam format here. The exam format. This exam would comprise of 180 questions, please note. And all questions are objective. There's no essay type of question. All objective questions, but we have a variety. There are classic multiple choice questions. You understand? Classic MCQ is like there are 4 options given, A, B, C, D. You got to pick up one right answer, okay? There are some questions of this make multiple responses. That's like 5 options given. They would ask you choose 2 answers. There are very few questions of type matching, matching kind of question. And there's something called a hotspot kind of questions. They're very less. You will see them later. We'll show you these kind of questions. Put together, I would say around 5-6 questions, hotspot and matching. So majority of the question are of this make, classic MCQ and multiple response. And the duration for the exam here, 230 minutes. So 180 questions and 230 minutes. I won't say the time is relaxed. I won't say, not very aggressive also, but you have to maintain a decent pace I have come across people who said they couldn't complete the exam, even that, or others who said they just completed. Yeah. So the questions are tricky. It would require you to read the questions twice also at times. Okay. So hence you got to maintain a good pace. And also out of 180 questions, 5 of them are trial questions, trial or pre-test questions, as they say. So these are there for feedback purposes. These would not be taken into account for scoring. So, by the way, but these are not identified. I mean, you would answer all the 180 questions. You don't know which are pre-test. The system knows. End of the exam is going to segregate those 5 and score you based on the remaining 175, which are scoring questions. And during the exam, they allow you 2 breaks, by the way. The breaks are so placed. Just clean it up. So after you complete, one moment. Yeah. So after you complete 60 questions, so the first break window would open, break 1 of 10 minutes. And then you come back and take up another 60 questions. Then there will be another break 2, again of 10 minutes. Then you come back and do the remaining 60. So these are 2 breaks you have. Well, if you want to end the break before time, you can always do that. But the max time allowed is 10 minutes. And of course, that 10-minute time is not included in the 230 minute. The clock would stop. With the exam, when you're writing the exam, there's a clock at the top right corner showing you time remaining. So do you time check? Yes, so that's the exam format. And please also note, questions follow no order. So questions are not segregated as this initiation question, planning question. No, it's all jumbled up. Okay, so they're randomly. So you don't have to make out which area it is from. All that matters is you have to answer them, correctly, of course. So this is the exam format.
DJ, I have
Any
one
questions?
question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So these questions that we are talking about will be around it will not have any quantitative questions, right? Wherein you'll have to take up a pen and paper and then start calculating answers and then providing them. Or will they?
Yeah, Kanish. No numerical questions in PMP exam.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
Fine. Thank you.
Budeep, you raised your hand, is it? No, Sumit, you raised your hand.
Yes, DJ. DJ, can you go back to the slide? So you said that 230 minutes, that including the breaks, the time is including the breaks, or 230 minute, the exam will be 230 minute and then 20-minute extra
30
break.
minutes, where did I 230?
230.
10 minutes breaks are.
Okay, so on an average,
Yeah,
like
the
there are
230 minute did not get it clear. I said 230 minute is excluding breaks. Breaks are not included.
excluding breaks.
Is that your
Yes, clarified. Thank you.
question?
Yes, DJ.
Is that your question or some other?
Yes, DJ, I'm good. Yep.
Am I missing any other question? Anybody raised hand? Got a question? All right. These domains. Okay, so the questions are, it's like this. Here's the breakup.
PJ, your voice is a bit
Their
choppy.
environment. Yeah.
It was a bit
Did
choppy.
I miss something?
No, DJ, I was saying your voice is a bit choppy. Is it just for me or for everyone?
Yes, for me also. I think DJ,
It's
your voice is
breaking.
breaking.
Yeah. At times.
So what I'm saying is, oh, hold on. Is there a problem? I couldn't get that.
Yes, so whenever you are speaking, DJ, at times you sound robotic, wherein it's like
Oh, I see. Is it? Oh. Okay. All right. Just let me know if it is okay. If it persists, just check. Yeah, it's fine. I'm there. Okay. How is it like now? Is
It's
it
better
still
now.
okay?
yeah, it's better.
Yeah. Okay. Please let me know if it repeats once, later. Okay, so I was saying that the questions are divided into these three domains: business environment, that would make up 8% of questions. Okay, and then people and process. These are the three domains of the paper. People make 42% of the questions are from the people domain, and process make 50%. So that's the weightage, just for information. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now, couple of things. Retaking the exam. I wish nobody needs this option. Just in case somebody is not able to make it in the first attempt, then in that case, there's a re-exam available, but there's a fee to that. I mean, say I took the exam, I couldn't clear it today, then the process is I'll have to pay a re-exam fee, and the fee is here, $275. And that's for members. And if somebody is not a member, then here $100 more. So another reason to be a member. See, strongly recommended. So you got to pay this fee. Again, you can schedule and take the exam. And PMI has not put any kind of limit or wait period here. Say I couldn't make it to the exam, make it in the exam today. I can go apply for the exam tomorrow and take it in a day too, if I wish. Okay, so that's the re-exam procedure. And 2 retakes are allowed, meaning what is the maximum number of takes? I took it first time, I could not clear. I paid $275 USD, go for a re-exam 1. So I couldn't make it there as well. I could go for a second re-exam also, paying again $275. And that's all. If somebody is not able to make it in 3 attempts, the person has to wait for 1 year and then reapply if patience is still left. Okay, so that's the exam thing. And how to maintain your certificate. Okay, let's get to learn that. What is the validity and how to maintain? Let me explain. Say you got certificate. Yes.
One question. So what's the past
percentage?
Mark?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take it. So passing percentage here, PMI doesn't declare that. Okay, so let me explain it this way. Oh, different account. Okay. Yeah. So passing percentage. See, by the way, when you're done with the exam, so you click on submit and the scorecard would be right in front of you. And how does the scorecard look like? Watch. They will tell you in business environment. These are the domains we saw, right? People and process. So PMI would say in business environment, you were above target. So look at this. They don't tell you what is your score. They don't tell you whether it is 60, 90, 80. No, they don't. Okay, they say you were above target in people domain, say you were target here. All right, say you are above target here. Or maybe there's another one below target. So these are like the grades that they have. A target to mean you are at par with the average. Above target means you did better than what the average does. And the below target, of course, means you did worse. It's like kind of you failed that area. But the good thing is that you got to pass the exam collectively, not each of these areas individually. I mean, somebody getting a below target in an area can still make it clear the exam because it did well in other areas. So that pass or fail is written at the top. And in any case, they would provide this kind of a breakup. That's how the scorecard would look like. So coming to pass mark, PMI doesn't disclose. And what is the range of the target above target? Again, PMI doesn't disclose. It is based on psychometric analysis. Okay, they do not. But something that I can tell you, my best guess around what would be the pass mark. I mean, they used to give a percentage earlier, some 8-9 years ago, they used to. So the pass mark should be somewhere around 65%. I repeat, that's the best guess. It should be somewhere around 65%, but PMI doesn't disclose. So if you're answering 65% of the questions correctly, most likely you should clear the exam. I hope I answered this question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I was talking about renewing your certification. Let's say you write the exam on 15th November 2023. You get certified. Your certificate would expire on 14th November 2024, 5, and 6. So 3 years is exactly the validity of the certification. Exactly 3 years. Now then, let's understand what's needed to renew your certification. Well, two things. One, within this 3-year window, you got to collect a total of 60 PDUs. PDU stands for Professional Development Unit. So there are various ways to earn PDUs. So they call it as the continuing certification requirement. So some examples, see, there's a PMP handbook, by the way. You can download and read, available for free download on PMI's website, where they have detailed out the various type of PDUs and rules around it. But let me give you some common ways of earning PDUs for now. You attend a formal training program. That's one way. Say tomorrow, after you get certified, you attend some training around project management. I attended a training on risk management, 2-day training, or a negotiation, motivation skill training, yeah, or a ITL training, a Prince2 training, a program management training, anything around project management, would suffice. And the training provider would provide you a certificate. The calculation is usually like this: 1 hour of training is equivalent to 1 PDU. If you attend a 2-day training, most likely you'll be given a certificate with 15, 16 PDUs, whatever. So that's one way. There are many other ways. Once you remember, you become a member of PMI, and one of the member benefit, there are a lot of recorded webinars available. You just go through them, you get PDUs. I just run a recorded webinar 2 hours long. Hey, 22 PDUs earn for that. That would be the free way and best way to earn PDUs. Count on that. There are many others. There is one type of PDU which is self-directed learning. So that's like, I say that I read this book on project management, and I spent 20 hours reading that book. Claim PDUs for that. And what would be the evidence for that PDU? Okay, make a few page notes of the books. And just in case your PDUs are again subject to audit, you claim the PDUs. So as and when you gather the PDUs, you can log into PMS website and claim that is enter details. Okay, it would be approved. And audit again could happen. Just in case it is audited, they will ask you evidence of that PDU. Yeah. So there are many, many ways of earning PDU. Attending a webinar, conference, okay, that could give you PDU. Yeah. So you have to earn a total of 60 PDUs in this window, within the 3-year window, anytime during the 3-year window. And second, pay a renewal fee. So PMP certificate renewal fee. And the fee is here, $150. So this is the renewal fee. So this is all it takes to renew your PMP certification. Two things: 60 PDUs and $150. Every 3 years, you keep on doing that. If you do that, your certificate is renewed for 3 more years, and the cycle goes on. I got certified in 2005. Ever since, every 3 years I do this, and I'm a PMP in good standing still. The best part is you never have to rewrite the exam. You take the torture of writing the PMP exam just once. Okay, why I said torture, actually it's not exactly that. I mean the effort that goes in. I'm getting there in a while. So once clear, you can retain your PMP certification for lifetime. I hope you're clear with the renewal thing. I have one last thing to speak, which is what to study and how much to study.
DJ,
Yes.
I have one question. So let's suppose some dumb guy he let his PMP expire. He did not renew it in time. Then he will definitely have to rewrite the whole test, right?
Okay, here there's a catch. Say, one moment.
Because that's what happens in our Salesforce
Now,
certifications, at least.
okay, I'll tell you what happens in PMP. Say you wrote the exam on 15 November 2023, you got certified, and the expiry was on 14 November 2026. All right, I told you that. Now say it's already gone. This date is gone, and you didn't do the needful and renew your certificate. Then what? Okay, they put you under suspension for 1 year. So meaning, if you wake up during the 1 year suspension period and do the needful is these two things, 60 PDUs and renewal fee, then you can successfully renew the certification without any exam. So effectively another 1 year. Okay, so, but in this 1 year, you cannot claim yourself to be a PMP. You are not a PMP, but if you want to renew, you can till 14 November 2027, another 1 year. I hope I answered your question.
Yes.
Last thing, if this date also is gone, 2027, 14 November is gone. Now you want it back. Okay, you have my number. See you again. I expect you never go for that. I have really come across a lot of people who earned the certification but didn't renew on time, come back and retake it. Very painful. So please avoid that. You make a decision, by this date, whether you want it or not. All
Sure.
right. Any other question? Well, then one last thing I'm going to talk about, what to study and how much to study. Okay, this is very important. Pay attention. Yeah.
PJ, before we move, just one question.
Yeah.
So, PJ, you said that, for example, if I'm doing any project management training from Coursera, Udemy, or from my company providing something, can I add those certification as my earned PDU in PMP?
Yes, as long as the provider provide you with a certificate stating that you are awarded with these many PDUs.
But in other certification, like they do not count like how many hours. Maybe they just put like the person has attended the training and successfully completion something. So
That
is
would
there
not work.
Oh, is
That
it?
would not work. Yeah. So very clearly, the provider should issue the certificate stating that you are being awarded with these many PDUs.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Most providers do, by the way. Most providers do. Yeah. All right. So I'll now come to the last part, what to study and how much to study. Okay. First of all, how much to study. So what I would say, what I've seen is 100 to 150 hours of study is what works for most people. Okay, this many hours. And this could be over a period of 1 month, maybe 2 months, or at most 3 months in terms of duration. You do your own calculation. It depends how many hours you are able to invest for preparation. Say I were to spend a couple of hours every day, maybe a bit more during weekend, it would require me around 1.5 months to 2 months to invest this amount of effort. If you're going slow, then 3 months. If you're fast, why not a month? The sooner the better. So this is the amount of effort that's needed. Okay, that's one. And next thing, what to study. Okay, now what I would say is you study the courseware that I shared with you. Okay, the courseware we provided, I'm yet to explain what all is there in that courseware. I'll do that. So very simply put, so what is that courseware that I shared is these topics. See, I have this PowerPoint presentation I'm going to use, okay, during the training. The same we have translated to a PDF and shared with you. So this has all content that's needed for the PMP exam. So along with the notes pages also. So this is a very detailed syllabus we have, 100%, covering the PMP exam content outline. So I repeat, just reading this courseware itself is enough to crack the exam. You don't have to read anything else. However, if you ask me if, what else can be studied if somebody wants, then I would say, if you want to add something to the courseware, add PMBOK. PMBOK is the official guidance coming from PMI. So project management body of knowledge. Okay, PMBOK you have to read. And now this is also very interesting. Which edition of PMBOK now? You know what is the latest edition of PMBOK? The latest one is 7th edition. And I'll add PMBOK 6th edition also, watch. To better understand that, look, many people have a belief that the PMP exam is based on PMBOK. That's a big myth. Let's be clear. So you know, when did the PMP exam last changed? It changed on 2nd January 2021 is when the exam last changed. By the way, for your information, PMI changes the PMP exam every 4-5 years as a practice. Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell you, prior to this date, what used to be the case is the exam would be based on PMBOK. So it would be like 90% questions would be from PMBOK, you know, directly or indirectly, they would reference PMBOK. So what people would do, just read PMBOK and go write the exam. That's what we also used to tell people. Okay. It was, but now no more. The exam is distant from PMBOK. So PMBOK now, so PMI is very clear. It says PMBOK is one of the many references for the exam. The exam is not based on PMBOK. Any of the editions of PMBOK also. Please note that. Okay. So if you were to go with PMI's recommendation, there are some 11 books they list in recommended reading for the PMP exam. That's too much for you to study. I mean, I don't discourage. If you want, you can. So what we have done, hence, we have taken all the hard work and we put together this courseware, taking everything that's needed for the exam. That's why I had been telling you, just reading this courseware itself would be enough. But adding on, yeah, if you want to read PMBOK, you can. These are optional. And which edition of PMBOK, by the way? Let me surprise you. Not the 6th edition. Not the 7th, better is 6th edition. You can read 7th edition also, both of them. But I would say 6th edition has much more content that's relevant for the exam than the 7th edition. Okay, so I repeat once again, PMBOK 6th edition is more relevant for the exam. Yeah, it has more topics that you see in the exam than the 7th edition. So if you want to add, you may add these. And for Agile, so another part, for Agile, again, it depends how much is your current knowledge on Agile. Our course definitely covers that. If you want to add something for Agile, it would be PMI Agile Guide. There is a publication. This is a short book, 82-page book. Okay. So PMI's Agile Guide. You may add that as well for Agile stuff. So I repeat, these are optional and just reading our courseware itself would suffice. So let me know if you have any question with regard to what to study, how much to study.
DJ, just a quick question. So the 35 or 36 hours which we're going to get from your organization, do they expire like once we're done with that? Do we have, you know, a timeline where we have to register for the PMP exam, or no, like we can do it after even like after a year?
Yeah. I mean, I would say at least it would be valid for 3 years, at least 3 years. So you can use the 35 contact hour certificate for the next 3 years to apply for the exam. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Devashish Partha here. This PMBOK 6th edition, 7th edition you were talking about, and also PMI Agile Guide. So these are all freely available in PMI portal, right?
Not freely available, actually. Just give me a sec. It's not freely available.
So where to get this? Yeah.
All right. So this is all I had in this first part, everything about certification. So if there is some question that remains unanswered, I'll be very happy to address that. Do let me know.
Excuse me. So will you share some, I don't know, test or something like that as?
Yes, Sohail, thanks for highlighting. Yeah, so I forgot to actually add. So this is the courseware that you need. And yes, as part of PMP preparation, getting used to PMP questions is much needed. So PMP questions are a different animal altogether. So 2 things here. That's why in the class, we are going to discuss around 150 questions. We'll discuss 150. It's like after one chapter is done, I ask you to take up some questions, 10, 15 questions. You're going to take them, and then we'll have a detailed discussion. And this is where you have to be attentive when we are discussing the questions. I'll be sharing the tricks, do's, don'ts, how to tackle PMP questions. Okay, so that's one part, you will learn it. But beyond that, of course, yeah, some more practice is needed. So for that, we are going to provide you with access to 1,000 questions. So we have got a third-party PMP simulator, which has a total of 1,000 questions, a decent one. We'll be sharing access to that. So this will do by the end of the training. And if you want more questions to practice, you may look for other sources. If you ask me, I can suggest you some. But we are going to provide you with 1,000 questions, which is kind of enough, by the way. I hope I answered the question. Yeah.
So DJ, you said that 150 plus 1,000, if we practice this and we understand this well, then it is sufficient enough for cracking PMP exam.
I say that, yeah.
Okay.
I say that, yeah. And this is all resources, hence you need to crack the exam, yeah. That's all. You don't have to go and get anything else, except for if somebody is interested in more mock exams. There's no harm. You may consider getting some. Otherwise, no other stuff is needed. Very well, then we're done with this part. Okay. Hope I didn't miss out anyone. Yeah. We'll then get started with the very first topic. The next one, that's business environment. Okay, in the meantime, you must have downloaded the courseware already. Just in case somebody hasn't downloaded, facing any issue, do let me know. These are the files that were there in the folder. Yeah, I'll just explain. Yeah, we had these. Okay, I'll just explain. So this makes the courseware actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first one, chapter 0 is what is about PMP certification. Don't call it a part of courseware. It's about the certification I just spoke. So this is the real content, okay? These 6 files. So you have to, that's the main reference material. You have to study it well. And then what else was shared is there's a file with the name chapter and questions. So I'll just open and show you. So here we have just questions are there. So, after we have taken, completed a topic, we'll take up some questions, discuss them. Okay, so this is one. And I've also shared the answer key to the chapter and questions for your reference later on. And one last file, flashcard. What is that? I'll just show you. In PMBOK, there are a lot of documents, right? So I've created this flashcard. I mean, one slide for each document, So what is the use of this one? This is helpful for quick revision purpose. Okay. So this is no new content, by the way. This is there in the courseware. So it's for revision purposes provided here. That flashcard. One moment. Okay. So it's like business case is one document. So what's contained in business case? Yeah, that's what is talked about. This is flashcard. What's there in benefits management plan, another document. So I repeat once again, this is for revision purposes. Yeah. That's all that makes this course there.
DJ, I don't see the answer key in the.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me check. Oh, purposefully, I don't have it here. That I'll give you at the end of the training, not now.
Okay.
I hope that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adeline, can you please reshare the link? Yeah, sure. I'll just reshare the link. I'm resharing the link just in case somebody hasn't yet downloaded the courseware. Yeah, I request you to download the courseware right away, right now, if somebody hasn't done. Okay, right now, and save it locally. Yeah, we'll need it. All right, then we'll start off with the first topic, business environment. Right. I'll start with this slide number, whatever, 9. We'll go 8. We'll go back to the remaining ones later. Okay, so what is a project? There are many definitions. PMBOK defines project this way. It says project is a temporary endeavor. Why do we call a project as temporary? Because project has got a start date and end date. I'm sure you would agree to that. Unlike operations, or business as usual, where there's no end date. Projects are not like that. Always there is an end date to a project. Whenever we start a project, we have something in mind. This project is going to last 6 months or 10 months or 5 years maybe, but some end date. So which is undertaken to create a unique, another important characteristic of a project is unique. By the way, before that, what's the outcome of a project? Could be to build a new product or maybe to come up with a new service or give some kind of a result. So whatever the outcome, product, service, whatever, it has to be unique. Unique means no two projects can be exactly the same. So this project has to be some different than any other project ever undertaken in the past. And here, don't you confuse, the volume of uniqueness is not important. What's important is this project has to be some different, all right? We do take up similar projects many times, but this has to be some different or else we can't regard it as a project. Okay, so coming to the list of characteristics here, they're noted temporary, unique. I hope this is taken. Let me ask a question before we move on. Say you just completed a project today. It was a 6 months project you had undertaken and it has completed today. And question is now, was your project successful? I mean, how would you decide whether or not to consider your project as successful? Any views? I would love to hear your views.
So I think when we are finalizing the project charter, at that time, we do define what the success criteria would look like. And then once you are done with the project, then you'll evaluate yourself against what was said earlier.
Okay, the success criteria. All right, thank you. Anybody else would like to add on? So the question is very simple, what's the definition of project success? How do you measure success is what I'm asking. All right. Okay, one thing.
Maintaining the timeline of your milestones throughout the project period.
All right. So that is completing on time. Yep.
Taking a feedback from the client side, you like the project or not.
Okay. Customer feedback or customer satisfaction. Yeah. Very well. All right. Thank you so much for your responses. Yeah. Keep responding. So, by the way, let's make this session interactive. While you can ask as many questions you want, I'll also keep asking you questions. Do respond wherever you are able to. Right or wrong, doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. So coming back here. That's right. Somebody already said that. So completing on time, within budget, satisfying the customer, all of them. So somebody said we would define that success criteria in a document known as charter. Absolutely. And the success criteria we call as objectives. All right. So whatever means success to you, you define them as objectives in your project. So in my project, I'm going to define these are 5, 6, 7, as many objectives you want. One objective is project should complete in 10 months. Another objective is it should be delivered within a budget of 1.5 million. Likewise, whatever means success, you lay them as objectives. And when are these objectives defined, by the way? Pretty early, right at the beginning of the project. Now, on the last day of the project, I'm going to check now. I'm going to measure to what extent did I meet these objectives. If you met them all 100%, that's a grand success. If you meet the objectives partially, that's partial success. You do not meet them at all, then that's no success. So in simplest language, meeting objectives is the definition of project success. So here, objective orientation to mean the same. Any project is about meeting a set of predefined objectives, right? Unique we touched upon a drive change. What's that now? We say projects are a means of introducing change. A change where? In our business operations. Okay. So a project will result in some change. Take a simple example. I'm building a new order management system. Okay. So building a new order management system to process orders. Now say we build the order management system. Now we go deploy that in operations. Now, once we do that, what's going to happen? Watch. There is going to be a change in the way we process orders henceforth. Watch, we had been processing orders ever since. But the way we would after this project is over, that's going to undergo some change. So this is what a drive change to mean. So projects are a means of introducing change. The change is, of course, for the betterment, right? Another characteristic, projects enable business value creation. So, I mean, every project will provide some value to the business. Like this new order management system we're building, we're spending $1 million to build it, say. And what is the value it's going to offer to the business? Well, orders will be processed 30% faster. That's an example of value. Okay. Or say there'll be increase in timely fulfillment of orders. Yeah. These are examples of value. I hope you appreciate every project must offer something of value to the business. Or can you imagine a project that's not providing any value? No way. So why are we investing in the project? It is this value that justifies the investment that's going in the project. We can use a term for this value we're talking about, call them as benefits. Okay, orders will be processed 30% faster. That's a benefit. All right, then the last characteristic, usually projects involve something called
DJ, we lost you.
Oh,
We
no,
can hear
I'm not
you.
speaking. Oh, is it? Oh, is it? Okay. All right, I'll repeat. What I was asking is, would you know what is progressive elaboration? If you have come across this term in projects.
Yes, DJ. So maybe project is started with some limited scope and budget, and later on that project team explored that there are other things which can be add on and continue, and they plan for the next MVP or next rollouts.
Not 100% correct, actually. Anybody? I'll elaborate. Anybody? And yeah. Okay, I'll take it. Well, the way you explained Kanish, right? Yeah, you explained that. It was kind of sounded as if it's an extension of the project. You had limited budget timeline in mind, and thereafter you extend it. Not exactly. So progressive elaboration in simple language. Okay, let's start from here. I'm sure you understand the term scope. Every project has a scope. In simplest language, what is scope? Scope is the work that we need to perform, right? Yeah. So when we start a project on the very first day, we would only have a high level view of the scope, like a bird's eye view of scope. The details are not known. And as we move through the project lifecycle, we keep on detailing out or refining the scope. This is what is progressive elaboration. Not necessarily extending much. No. So progressive elaboration, I repeat, is what you start with a high level understanding of the scope, and the details are not known. The details would come as you move on. Refining the scope on the go is what is progressive elaboration. Yeah. Another term now, rolling wave planning. Again, this is related. If progressive elaboration applies, rolling wave planning is bound to apply. So rolling wave planning is like, say I've got a 10-month project. Okay. Now, something called planning horizon. Say when I stand here, the first 3 months, say this work is clearly visible to me. But the work to be done in the remaining 7 months is not as clearly visible, right? There's limited visibility in a project. So rolling wave planning is where what do? You put up a project plan pretty early, right at the beginning of the project. But note, in my project plan, it's like this. The first 3 months, this is detail. I mean, planned to a detail level. But the remaining 7 months is planned, but only high level plan. It's not planned to a detail level. When I say high level, I mean, we got summary task and all, detailed timelines, task and all, not yet done. So when do I intend to do that? Okay. So when I reach here towards the end of the 3rd month, I'll sit here and now do the planning for the next 3 months, because this is where I have extreme visibility of the work. Okay. So this would be rolling wave planning. Once again, I sit here and then define the plans for the next 3 months. So planning in steps, planning in iterations is what we call as rolling wave planning. And I summarize the last point. What we are saying, these two concepts, progressive elaboration and rolling wave planning, are usually true for projects, not necessarily. So in other words, can we not have a project where I have the detailed scope known upfront, right at the beginning of the project? Yes, can happen, but that's not commonly seen. What is more commonly seen is that you start with the high level scope and you keep on defining on the go. Well, so these are all characteristics of a project. Anybody got a question is welcome. By the way, just to let you know, in the meantime, they would not ask you direct questions on this, not at all. There would be no question like which is a characteristic of project, not at all. But these are very basic fundamentals, good to know. So we are talking about. Let me tell you in the meantime, questions are all scenario based, application oriented, not direct questions on definitions or which is a characteristic, not at all. Each question would be like some kind of a simple situation they give and they ask, what would you do? Okay. So the exam is of the kind, what would you do and not what do you know? That kind of questions is not there in the PMP exam. All right, then let's look at what's project management. Here, PMBOK defines project management this way. It says, is the application of knowledge. Well, knowledge to mean, of course, project management knowledge. And like as contained in PMBOK, skills. Whose skills are we talking about? The project manager. Look, you project managers, applying project management over the years, you would have built several project management skills. Skills like estimation skills, planning skills, communication skills, stakeholder engagement skills. I mean, there are lots of skills. So successful project management requires you to apply your project management skills you learned over the years. And third one, tools and techniques. So there are several tools and techniques in project management, and PMBOK, let me tell you, is a very good collection for these detailed project management tools and techniques. When I say tools and techniques, a couple of examples: scheduling technique, critical path method, right? Estimation technique, 3-point estimation. Yeah, likewise, there are hundreds of them. So what is project management then? It involves application of knowledge, skills of the project manager, and popular tools and techniques known to exist. And why apply them? To meet project requirements. Just a definition, nothing important. Okay, that's definition of project management.
DJ, we will discuss about these tools and techniques during this course, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. All through the course, there are lots of tools and techniques.
Okay.
Right. Now, you may have come across these two terms, project lifecycle and product lifecycle. Can somebody help differentiate? If I ask you, how are the two life cycles different? Anyone?
Yeah, one is talking about the project itself, like how the cycle differs from the product, and the product is, what you wanted to deliver. I'm not right.
But how the life cycles are different? What I'm asking here is, okay, let's look at it this way.
So I think, yeah, I think
just
the project. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, all I was saying is, let's say my project is to build a product, ABC product, some product. Okay. Now, in this context, what is project lifecycle and what is product lifecycle? Yeah, please go ahead now. Just want to set the context.
Yeah, the project life cycle is actually the project period from, you have said that first day and last day. So entire life cycle, what kind of effort we have put and then got the product, end product I'm talking about. And when it will become a BAU and that product is being used in the BAU operations. So thoroughly, it should have some life cycle also. Like that, the product, how it is being maintained, each and everything through, I think, certain period of time, or it could be, this is my assumption. I also see sometimes, yeah. So it can like a life useful life kind of things, maybe for an asset. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You were on the right lines. Somebody wants to add on something, or else I'll take over.
Yeah, I think so. The product life cycle, from what I remember from my MBA days, is like once you introduce a product, then it starts with what you say, adoption, then it will be in growth, and then it will eventually decline. However, it will not be the same case with project, wherein you will have initiation planning. I mean, it's just to achieve one what you can say, one desired result. So if you are developing a product, it can have multiple projects within it, that yeah, we are trying to improve on this functionality on this product, or something of that sort.
Okay, that helps. I'll just reiterate. Yeah, got the answer already. So first thing is, product life cycle is vast. Let's say, I mean, let's say my product is what? We're coming with a new model of a car. Okay, take a simple example. Oh, the pen has betrayed. So we're coming up with a new model of a car. Now, just allow me a sec. Yeah. So let's say I take 6 months to introduce a new model of a car. All right. And then what after that? We'll start manufacturing and selling it, right? So I'll put it this way. We start manufacturing and selling. We kept on doing it for 1 year. Now, after 1 year, based on market feedback, we decided we are going to enhance this model. Okay, so we decided what? Let's enhance this. Say this was a 3-month exercise. I mean, we enhanced it with certain features to better compete in the market. Okay, then what after that? Again, we started manufacturing and selling the enhanced model. Now we kept on doing it for some time. And then maybe a couple of lines, years down the line, there was a new regulation that was introduced, some new fuel emission norms were introduced by the government. So we had to take up another exercise to redesign our engine to comply to the new emission norms. So let me call it as what? A redesign or whatever. Okay. Yeah. You can give it any name. So that was a 4-month exercise. Then again, we started manufacturing and selling. Okay. We kept on doing it. Likewise, maybe there are more upgrades and all we did. Okay. Now say some 12 years after, I mean, from ever since I started, 12 years after, what I see is this product is no more doing good in the market. You know, it's outdated, it's declining. Okay. So I decided here, we are going to stop this model now. We're going to phase it out, retire it. That's my product life cycle. So watch. So product life cycle is vast. In this, my example is 12 years long. So product life cycle is right from inception till the retirement or phasing out of the product is what is product life cycle, which is quite vast. Now watch one thing. Within a product life cycle, there may be several projects, as you find here. Have a look. This 6 months we take to introduce this model. This is a project. This enhancement we are doing. There's another project, watch. This is another project. This redesign we're doing. That's one more project. So point to be noted, within a product life cycle, there could be several projects, as you find. Okay, it's vast. Last thing then, what is project life cycle? Okay, so let's talk about the first project, 6 months project that I take to introduce or come up with a new model. So the project lifecycle of this project is confined to 6 months. Within this 6 months, somebody already answered that. You're going to initiate this project, you're going to plan it, execute, monitor, and close it. All of it happening within 6 months. Closure is with introduction of the new model. This is my project lifecycle. So from initiation through closure is project lifecycle, while product lifecycle is fast. I hope we have clarity on this. If somebody has a question, it's welcome. The same is depicted here also. Yeah. So product has a growth, maturity, and finally decline, retirement. That would be product lifecycle. Okay, we discussed projects and its characteristics. Now, a little bit on related endeavors. Now, what is a program and what's a portfolio? Look, this is the hierarchy. There is project. Now, programs are larger than projects. Portfolios are even larger. So before I tell you something, would you like to try? What is a program if I ask you? What would you say? What's a program? Anybody?
So for example, any business is coming from customer. So entire that business is very vast. For example, I'm talking about infrastructure, IT infrastructure side. So it has multiple projects going on, and multiple opportunities also is coming also in within that program. But program actually it's a kind of things like that entire infrastructure and application development of an organization. One organization has taken over, and now they are providing the services. So that is entire one project. One program. And in the program, multiple projects could be definitely there. Multiple 1,000 projects could be there or more than that. That is I understand. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Essentially, program is a collection of projects. Keeping it simple. So say there is a project 1, there's a project 2, project 3. 1,000 sounds too much. Well, but not impossible. But so they say there are 4 projects.
Correct.
And we see that they're related. So we club them together and form a program out of it. It's like another layer you add, which is a program. And we would have a program manager who would oversee the complete program. Okay, we'll have a role, program manager. By the way, even in this case, each project is led by a PM. Okay, we have a project manager for each of these projects, and put together is a program. Okay, so first thing I said is a group of projects. But here's a question. Is it any 4 projects you club together and say that's a program? No. Must be related projects. If it is not related, then don't make a program out of it. Bad idea. So I repeat, they must be related. Then only it makes sense to club them together. And then
DJ, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. So you're trying to differentiate between the PM and the PG. Can you just repeat that one more time, please? And are you fine with calling us DJ or?
Yeah, that's perfect. Please call me DJ. I'm absolutely fine. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. In fact, I'm not currently differentiating between project manager and program manager. If you want, we can later. My aim is now to explain what a program is. Okay. So let's get that first. We can talk about program manager and project manager also. So what I said about program this far is that it is a set of projects. It's a collection of projects. And the second thing I said that these 4 projects, I collect them, they must be related. If they are not related, then we should never make a program out of it. Okay. So they're related. This is all I said this part, then I'll add on. Now, let's say we have 4 projects and they're related also. Still, I have 2 choices. One, I could run them as 4 discrete projects. We could always do that, each led by a project manager, no program, let them run individually. Other option, no, let's club them together, form a program and manage it centrally as a program. Here's a question to you. Try this as a question. what can be certain benefits we can achieve if we manage these 4 projects collectively as a program rather than 4 discrete projects? Any view?
So we can probably provide a holistic view in terms of what all is going on. I mean, yeah, you'll be able to understand the business use case a bit better if you are looking at all the projects combined together. And then if there are any dependencies, you can call it out way in advance rather than not knowing them. So
Maybe
Okay.
allocation of resources also.
Yes, even that I take it well. Even this is
Yeah.
correct. Any other benefits?
We can see the project progress reports during the multiple projects.
Sorry, Budeep, couldn't hear. Your voice didn't keep clear.
We can check, see the project reports, progress
Project.
reports.
Is that a benefit that can be seen for projects also? Each project report I can see and make out how the projects are doing.
We can see on that what is going on is not cross our over the budget. If
Okay, not sure. Maybe have a point, but but anyways, every project I'm going to have reports and track them and see, compare the budget and all.
Improve the collaboration among the stakeholders.
Okay, improve collaboration.
There could be interdependencies. I mean, the output of one could be also one of the inputs to the other projects.
Absolutely. So better dependency management can happen. Yes. Yeah, I got a lot of answers. Thank you. So somebody said better integration could be possible. Better dependency management can happen. Resource optimization can happen. In fact, learnings from one project can be replicated or applied onto others. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So there are several benefits, right? Hope you appreciate that. So now presenting to you a definition of program. There are many definitions, one of them being program is a set of related projects managed together to achieve benefits which would otherwise not be available if they were managed separately. This is one way to define a program. Okay, I hope you appreciate why did we define it so. So if you have a program, you know, these are certain benefits we can achieve. So hence it's justified to have an additional layer, which is program. Okay, so then last thing now between program manager. See, what does a program manager do? Program manager will not manage the projects. For that, we have PMs, project managers are going to do. Program manager would do things at a high level, things such as commissioning each of the projects. Program manager would do. I mean, program manager decides when each project should start and then. What would be the timelines of these projects? What would be the budget of these projects dictated by the program manager? Program manager would manage interdependencies between the projects. Program manager will integrate these projects. Okay, that's something it would do. Centralized stakeholder management, centralized or aggregated risk management. So there's a risk which applies to all these 4 projects. Rather than the project managers dealing with that, the program manager takes it up at a higher level. Okay, so it will be more effective way that we can manage it. So these are things that a program manager is going to be taking care of. Well, we understood a program. Now, next in the hierarchy, portfolios. Look, this is the hierarchy. I hope you get that. Portfolios are even larger. So what can get into a portfolio? Well, a portfolio could comprise of projects and or programs and or other work. So meaning, say, here there's a portfolio that comprises of 2-3 programs, which in turn have projects within it. And maybe there are 4-5 projects directly under the portfolio. They are not part of any program. Yes. Maybe there's some other work that we cannot call as a project or program also. All of these can get under a portfolio. It's larger. All right. Okay. Now, next thing, Like in program, we said the components within a program. By components, I mean the projects within it. They must be related, I said, right? But come to a portfolio. Interestingly, the components within a portfolio may not be related, may not be, I said. Then what is the linking element? What brings them all under one umbrella? View portfolio as an umbrella. Well, the answer to that is they're all towards achieving a common strategic goal. So it's like this. The company comes up with some strategic goal. Now, in order to achieve that, we have to do lots of work, and that work is in the form of projects, program, other stuff. They all, fall within a portfolio. And what is the most important job of a portfolio manager? What does a portfolio manager do? Let's think about that. Well, I would say there's a saying. I'll give you the saying. We say that project management is about doing the projects right, while portfolio management is about doing the right projects. So what is that? What is portfolio management here? It's about doing the right projects. So this simply means, what I mean through this is project selection. And this happens to be the most important job of a portfolio manager. That is to decide what projects to include in my portfolio, which ones to timely exclude from the portfolio. In other words, what would most decide how successful a portfolio is going to be anywhere? You know what is going to decide that? The right mix of projects. And hence, this becomes the most important job of a portfolio manager, to decide what projects to include and the ones to timely exclude from the portfolio. Okay, so I just give you a high-level view of project, program, and portfolio. It's time for a scheduled break. Let's take a break. When we come back, I'll give you one example, a simple example, to show you how the three, by three I mean project, program, and portfolio, they coexist within an organization. Okay, we'll see that.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any last question before I start the break?
Okay, break for 20 minutes, 10 minutes or 30 minutes?
Follow this timer. It's 30 minutes. I'll have this projected, this timer. Okay.
Okay.
So, well, see you in 30 minutes then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, DJ.
Welcome back. Hope you are back.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful.
I'm here.
All right, perfect. We'll get started then. Well, so we spoke about project, program, and portfolio. And okay, let's take a simple example. Okay, before I start my example, a bit more about portfolios. You know how are portfolios organized in any organization? There are multiple ways it could be done. Some would do it based on different lines of business. I mean, a company which is into multiple lines of business, each line of business it can treat as a portfolio. That would be one way. Certain other organizations would do it based on geographies that they serve. So like we serve the European market, the Asia Pacific, so they would create portfolios likewise. Europe is one portfolio for them. There are multiple ways. Let me take a simple example. Let's say an automobile manufacturer. Okay, let's talk about. And they manufacture a lot of cars. A variety of cars, they got luxury ones, sedan, hatchback, all kind of cars, SUVs. Let me take one of them. So let me talk about SUVs, special utility vehicles. So this is one portfolio for this manufacturer. While what are others, sedan is another one, they would have likewise multiple portfolios. Let's focus on the SUV. So I'm the portfolio manager. Now, remember one thing I said, portfolios are tied to strategic goals. Okay, so I'll give an example. What is the strategic goal? So this manufacturer, they have a 5% market share in the SUV segment, only a 5% market share. So they decide that we would like to double our market share, that is to take it to 10% in the next 3 to 4 years. So this is the strategic goal. We want to double our market share. And let me act as portfolio manager, and given a budget, I've got 500 millions or whatever budget I have. See, it's my job now as a portfolio manager. I have to wisely decide what all initiatives I'm going to take up to achieve this strategic goal. Okay, so let me think loud. Say we currently have a few models in the SUV segment. We have an existing model 1, an existing model 2, an existing model 3. So we currently have 3 models in the SUV segment. Let me tell you a little bit about each of them. This model 1 is doing good in the market currently. Okay. Model 2 is doing okay, not great, it's doing okay. And model 3 is not doing good. It's quite old, outdated one, not much selling. So watch what I decide. So what I decide is, what am I going to do with them? Model 1 will continue as is. It's anyways selling well. No need to disturb that. Will continue as is. What about model 2? Well, I decided we're going to enhance this one. It's not doing great. It's doing okay. So what I mean is we'll enhance it with certain features to better compete in the market. Okay. What about model 3? Okay, I decided to retire this one. This old one, let's stop it. Okay, we'll retire it. Then let me think further. When I want to double the market share, I have to do a lot more. Say, I decided we're going to introduce a couple of new models, new model 1, new model 2. So we're going to introduce 2 new models in the SUV segment. And let me tell you a little bit about them. These would be electric ones. So say we are currently not into electric. Okay. And we know that's the future. So we decided to introduce 2 models in the SUV, in the electric segment. Yeah. And these models would be pretty much the same, using the same engine, battery and all, with little bit of cosmetic changes. So model 1 is going to be a more economical one to attract a particular segment in the market, while model 2 would be with a sports look to attract another market segment altogether. Okay. Then what else? Let me think further. Okay, if I want to double our market share, we'll have to expand our reach. So a couple of things pertaining to expanding reach. So I decided we'll add more dealers. See, we have a network of dealers across the country, but we would need many more as we intend to double our market share. So that's something I would do. What else? We'll set up 10 new service centers. Again, we have a number of service centers, but we plan to set up 10 new service centers in 10 different cities. That's something we'll do. What else? Okay, something pertaining to marketing. So we'll organize road shows to launch our new models. We'll organize 4 road shows in 4 different cities, okay, to introduce our new models. Then what else? We'll come up with a new advertisement. We'll come up with a new TV ad. I'll write in brief. We're coming up with a new advertisement for television. Okay, that's something we'll do. Okay, one more. We will get some celebrity to endorse our model. We'll sign a contract with some celebrity who would endorse, our brand. Well, let me stop here. You could have thought more as well. So this is a list of initiatives that I intend, or we intend, to take up in the next 3 to 4 years. And what's the ultimate goal? All of them towards achieving this strategic goal, which is double the market share. All right. Now let's do one thing. Now let's decide, how do we execute all of these initiatives? Okay. We have a listing you see here. When I say execute these initiatives, I mean, does that make a project, or is it a program, or something else? Okay. This is what we need to decide now. So let's try this out. Okay. So here in existing model 1, there's nothing we're doing. So forget it. Come to existing model 2. We decided we're going to enhance this model. So question is now, enhancing an existing model, how do we execute that? I suggest that we take up a project to make it happen. I hope you appreciate enhancing an existing model makes a classic project. Okay. I keep proposing, if you have a different suggestion, for any of them, please let me know. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you believe it should be better handled some other way, yeah, I'll be happy to discuss. Come to existing model 3. I said we're going to retire it. Now, retiring an existing model. Okay, even this can be given the shape of a project. Retiring an existing model is again a classic project. One-time work. We'll have to decommission resource, facilities, resource and all, settle contracts and all. So even this can be given the shape of a project. Then let me come to the new models now, each of the new models. Would you like to suggest? So coming up with a new model of a SUV, what does it sound like? Is it a project or something else? Anybody?
A program.
Program?
Mhm.
Okay. How about others? Anybody has a different suggestion? We have 2 models to introduce. Okay. Now, then my say, program, yes, possible. While some other people may find it comfortable to take it up as one large project also. By the way, is it convincing program at all? Yeah, coming up with a new model has multiple elements to it. It is our engineering who is going to design this model, which is a very discrete piece of work. Our manufacturing is going to be setting up, manufacturing for this one, which is a very different piece of work now. Each could be a project and put together could be a program. Or another way of taking it up would be, some people would say, look, the whole thing is a program, electric SUV program. And there are, this good amount of relationship. A lot of things are same, the engine, battery and all going to be same. So maybe each is a project, each is a large project and put together is a program. That could be one way. And if somebody already suggested each is a program, I'm convinced, I don't deny. Another possibility could be the whole thing is a program and these 2, each model 1 and 2, they are sub programs. We can make that also. Interesting. Program could have sub programs also. It's kind of program, but put together under one bigger umbrella, which is a major program. Yeah, even that is possible. So for the sake of discussion, I continue to treat each as a project, but I'm completely in agreement if you suggest each is a program. Could have been. Then moving on to the other initiatives, adding dealers. Okay, what about that? See, for me, I'll tell you, we have a simple checklist to empanel any dealer. Okay, and we keep on doing that every now and then. So for me, watch, is regular operational work. So I repeat, this for me is regular operational work, not a project. Now, but somebody suggests here, hey, I would like to take it up as a project. You can, you set a target. Okay, we'll add 50 dealers in 4 months and run it as a project. Yes, very much possible. I don't deny. So you have choices at times. But again, for the sake of discussion, I continue treating that as a regular operational work. Okay. Then service centers. How about that? Okay, setting up one new service center is a classic project, right? And we're going to set up 10 new service centers. So that actually makes 10 projects, right? 10 projects. Now here's a suggestion. Why don't we club them together and form a program? Isn't it a good idea? I think it's a fantastic idea. The projects are pretty much similar work, setting up a service center. So forming a service center program is a great idea. Okay, which would have 10 projects in it. This was my electric program. Yeah. Then come to road shows. Okay, road show is an event. Organizing an event again is a classic project. And we're going to organize 4 road shows in 4 different cities. That makes 4 projects. Look at this. Again, why don't we make a road show program? Yeah, pretty much related, similar kind of work. So we can leverage from combining and forming a program. Okay, roadshow program, which has 4 projects. Now then come up with a new advertisement, new TV ad. That could be a project. We'll hire an ad agency who would come up with an advertisement for us. Yeah, could make a classic project. The last one, celebrity endorsement. For me, I would say it's not a project. It's just a few activities, in fact. This is like go to speak to 2-3 celebrities and finalize one of them and sign a contract. So I don't call it as a project. It's just a few activities, small piece of work. Yeah. Okay. Now look, I have decided how are we going to execute each of these initiatives. And you see, there are programs here and which in turn have projects within. And did you notice there are some projects directly under the portfolio? Like look at this one, enhancing the second, the model 2, retiring this model. They're not a part of any program, but they directly fall under the portfolio. So when I was defining portfolio, I said portfolio could comprise of projects and or programs and or other work. Look, these are other work, regular operational work, these activities, this is other work. So you see them all here. So in a portfolio, we have programs, we have projects, we have other work, all of them. Okay. Now the sum total of all this investment that's going to happen in the SUV segment in the next 3 to 4 years is referred to as the SUV portfolio. I hope you get a view in this example. I picked this example to show how the three, I mean, by three, I mean project, program, and portfolio, they coexist within an organization environment. Now, this organization, I'll then add on, this company, this organization, they're going to apply all the three disciplines. They'll apply project management to manage the projects. They'll apply program management. By the way, please note, the way we are studying PMBOK, project management, likewise, there is guidance for program management also. For your information, you might already know, PMI has got certification for program managers. They have a guidance for program management also, the way they have PMP and PMBOK for project management. Likewise, portfolio management also. There's a lot of art and science on how to manage portfolio. Again, there are certifications and guidance for that also. So this company is now going to apply all the three disciplines, which is project management, program management, and portfolio management together in an integrated way. And I'll give it a term, which is referred to as, we call it as OPM. What is OPM? Organizational project management. So what is OPM or organizational project management? Is a strategy execution framework that organizations adopt to deliver upon strategic goals, like this company is going to do. OPM in simplest language is applying all the three disciplines, project, program management, and portfolio in an integrated way, as we're going to do that to achieve these strategic goals. Well, I'll rest my example here. Anybody got a question on this example is welcome.
Yeah, it was a really good example. Appreciate it, DJ. Very clear.
Great. Good to note. Thanks. Well then, moving on. So we learned project, program, and program management. I said OPM, another term now. Some people call that a system for value delivery. So what does the system for value delivery comprise of? This is an alternate term for OPM actually. Okay, so the system for value delivery includes portfolios, programs, projects, products also, operations. All of these form components of system for value delivery. And organizations would adopt all of these to deliver value for the organization, like in the earlier example we saw. So repeat, portfolio, program, project management, product management, operations management, all put together form system for value delivery. All right, so that was about project program. Here's a question for you. Let's discuss this one. How are programs different from portfolios? I would love to have your answers on this. Think about it, and you can give me two differences. There doesn't exist a third one. There are two major differences. Anybody would like to try? Yeah.
Yeah, programs are based on benefits and portfolios are based on the strategy of the company or any market changes that's happening.
That's good. This is a good one, actually. This is a good one. I take it. Even this, I'll add it to the third one. So, in fact, so program focus is benefits, is right to say. His focus is benefit, while portfolio focus is delivering on strategic goals. Okay, I'm not writing it, but yes, I take it. I take it. Any other? Let me know. Two major differences. One we already got, two more. Okay, let me give you a hint. Now, tell me something. Projects are temporary, we talked about. How about programs? What's your view? Are programs temporary or are they ongoing? What do you say?
So it's a long running, like it's almost more than 5 year, 10 years, like that.
Well, it's very difficult to give it a number, Okay, relatively long running is taken, but then it's not that for it to be a program, it has to be 5-10 years. A 2-year initiative or a 1-year initiative cannot be program, would not be appropriate to say. But yeah, agree to one thing that generally or relatively programs are longer. That would be right to say. Don't give a number, it's very difficult. Okay, but then that is not a difference. Yeah, so coming back, I asked you a question. The last question was, are programs temporary or not? What do you say?
They are temporary.
They are temporary, please note. Like projects, even programs are temporary, meaning program has got an end date. Program is not an ongoing effort. However, we can say like a projects, we are very clear. Okay, this is an 8-month project, 10-month project, more precise. But when we start a program, we don't have a very clear end date in mind. We would say the program would last 2.5 to 3 years, or maybe 3 to 4 years. We don't have such a precise one, but sure, it's temporary. Okay, it has to end, and we have something in mind. So programs are temporary, but tell me now, are portfolios temporary or not? Projects and programs are temporary. What about portfolio? SCV portfolio, give it a thought.
For longer terms, probably can last for a couple of years.
In fact, portfolios are not temporary. Portfolios no end date. Try to recall that SCV portfolio. When is it going to end? Never. I mean, not until the organization decides to wrap up the business of SCVs. That's a different story. Otherwise, no end date. Please be clear on this part. See, SCV portfolio would stay. We had a strategic goal. What is that? Let's double the market share in the next 3 to 4 years. Say 3-4 years passed, you achieved it or you didn't achieve, whatever. But then portfolio doesn't end. It will continue. SCB portfolio will go on with a revised strategy, another goal, another target. But the SCB portfolio is permanent. It doesn't end. So here's the one major difference. Okay, difference is temporary versus permanent. I'll just write in brief. I hope you understand. So I repeat, what I meant is programs are temporary, while portfolios are not temporary. They are permanent. Major difference. One more big difference. Anyone? Okay, I'll reveal.
Portfolios include operational side also.
It's true. It's true. It could include. It's true, but okay, that could be one of the differences. Yeah, go ahead.
Making a strategy.
Sorry, what was that strategy?
Yeah.
That has come. Somebody already said that programs focus is benefits and portfolios focus is achieving some kind of a strategy. Okay. Yes, that somebody already said. I've taken that. Yes, I agree to that. Give me one more big difference. Okay, I'll help you with that. I'll write it here. Another difference.
Values focus on the long-term value for the investor.
Which one focuses on value? Project, program, or portfolio?
Portfolio I'm talking.
Okay.
Focus on long-term value to the investors, those who are investing money. I mean, the organization, and then also the stakeholders.
Okay. Yeah, even that is right to say. The focus is ultimately value, how much ROI, what is the net market share we have. Its focus is that, contrary to programs focus, is more on benefits. Okay, again, somehow relating to the third point itself. True. I'll give you one more. Relatedness. Relatedness to mean in a program, the components must be related. Remember I said program is a set of related projects. If they're not related, then you don't make a program out of it, please. But come to portfolio. The components in a portfolio may not be related. So this is another big difference. Try to recall, look at my portfolio. The components are not related. You talk about this electric SUV versus adding dealers and these. And no, they're very discrete, road shows, TV ad. These initiatives are not related, all of them. They lie under a portfolio, but they are not related. Okay, the linking element is something else. They're not related. Linking element is one strategic goal. This is the linking element. But in a program, come back. In a program, the projects must be related or the components must be related. That is another difference. So we got many answers. The most important ones, if I say, are these: temporary versus permanent and relatedness. Okay, I hope we get that. All right, now I'll move on. The next part, we'll speak about some project management business documents. There are two documents in PMBOK, which they term as business documents. One is business case, the other is benefits management plan. We'll learn them one by one. Okay, let's start with business case. This document, many of you may have come across this document. Hey, before I tell you what's documented in business case, I have a question. Question is, why do we create one? Can somebody help? So, read my question as, what's the purpose of this document? Why does anybody ever create a business case? Would you like to try?
New opportunity proposal, like that, new business proposal.
Very close. So what do? You create a business case, and what do you achieve by creating it?
Basically solve a problem.
It is to solve a problem. Okay, so somebody said there's a new opportunity. Let's create a business case for that. Well, you do that. I agree. But how does it help, this document? What do you do with
understand
it?
the business case.
Because whenever you will have another opportunity coming in, you will have documented that what is ongoing, and you will be able to compare it with that we are not reinventing wheel anywhere.
Okay. All right.
So business case is moreover the very initial thought that how people are looking into to meet some goals by doing some activities.
Right to say so.
Also, it could be the enhancement of existing business. For that one, anyone can create a business proposal, right? For
that's a scenario for which you create. I take it. You can. But I think my question is still not answered. Many people were close to the answer. My question is around not what do you create it for? What is the ultimate purpose of this document business case? What do you achieve by creating this document?
Defining the scope of business.
Well, that is getting into the contents of the document, but the scope is not there. At a high level, it can talk about, but the detail is not there. No.
To compare with our competitors.
To compare. In fact, you do that when you're creating a business case. That's something you do, competitor analysis.
Does it have to do with the uniqueness? Because one of the key characteristics of a project was unique.
No, that's true. But what? Will business case prove uniqueness?
Maybe to understand the objectiveness of objective of the company is aligned with the case.
That's a part of the business case. Okay. Maybe I'll reveal. You are close, but the answer that I was looking for, here is the answer. Business case is used to seek funding approval. Business case is used for go, no-go decision making. This is the ultimate purpose or goal of this document. All right. So what I meant is, let's understand this better. Whoever creating a business case, wherever creating, this is the ultimate purpose. So it's like you create a business case and you submit to the management, and then the management, okay, let's understand this way. Say I'm the one who is proposing a project. Here's a good business idea, okay, I have in mind. So I want to propose that. and get approval. So I'll create a business case. And then it would be submitted to whom? Whoever is the decision maker, whoever makes investment decisions in the organization. Of course, somebody from senior management. So they're going to check from the business case. I'll make a decision box. Is there enough justification to take up the project? Here I'll add one word. In simplest language, business case justifies the project. Okay, or it contains the justification for the project. It's contained in the business case. So coming back, so through this document, the manager is going to check the management. I mean, is there enough justification? And if we find a not really, I mean, it's not a very attractive proposal, then what? Nothing. You stop. And if the management finds, oh yes, this is a very attractive proposal, then what? Then a go ahead is given. Then is when you come and start the project or initiate the project. So I'm conveying two things here, purpose and also timing also I've conveyed. When is a business case created? Prior to project initiation. You use the business case to decide whether we will undertake the project or not. Or in simple language, to seek funding approval. Or you understand this way. You created a business case to propose a project. And now the approving authority, whoever in the organization, approves the business case. Okay, business case approved. What does that mean? That kind of means that the organization in principle agrees to make this investment. The company intends to take up this project. That's what it means. On the contrary, business case rejected. What does that mean? We won't do the project. So this is if somebody asks you now in this language, what is the ultimate purpose of this document, business case? Use this as the answer. It is used to make go, no go decision making or seek funding approval. Okay, that's the purpose. I hope you would be aware. I mean, you didn't express in this particular language, but many of you may be aware this is what we use the business case for. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And it is, do not forget the timing. It is before initiation. You create this basis which a decision is taken whether or not to undertake the project. If it is yes, we are going to, it gets approved, I mean, then you go and initiate the project. And let's touch upon the contents of business case. Yeah, so many people talked about when you were answering, you touched upon the contents. These are some things. Business need, why are we undertaking the project? As somebody pointed out, projects are taken up for various reasons, to solve a problem, to capture a new opportunity, maybe a legal requirement. There could be many reasons. So whatever it is, state, business need is why we are doing the project. Benefits, look at that. We will have the listing of benefits in the business case. We talked about the term benefit, remember? Like orders would be processed 30% faster. That's a benefit. Likewise, every project would have benefits. We are going to list them all. Give me a couple of more examples of benefits. Anyone, would you like to cite some example of benefits? Any project?
Can be manpower reduction by X percentage.
Absolutely. So we're doing
By
automation. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the example. So we are taking up an automation project which will result in a, say, 20% reduction in headcount. Yes, that's a benefit. Some more?
Improvement in your CSAT.
Improvement in CSAT, customer satisfaction index. Okay. Yeah, that's a benefit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, good. That helps. Thank you. So just wanted to add, benefits are financial and non-financial. Please note, not only financial, like improve customer satisfaction, CSAT, not a financial one, it's a non-financial one. So in a project, we have all type of benefits, financial and non-financial. And one thing, benefits best be quantified wherever possible. Like, okay, improve CSAT, have a number by 10%. Okay, it's best to quantify. Okay, if you don't quantify, then what's the target? We don't have a target. We don't know anything would work. So it's best to quantify the benefits. Yeah. So you have the listing of benefits, very important section of the business case. Hey, this analysis of the situation is, see, understand this way, any project is going to take us from some as is state to a to be state. right? So in the analysis of the situation, we can talk about that. What is the as is state? What's the to be state? And what's the gap? This gap is what the project is going to bridge at a very high level. Okay, can be presented. Then the next section, business options. Okay, I'll explain it this way. Let's take an example. Say my project is to construct. Okay, so let's say when we commute from point A to B, there's a lot of traffic congestion out here. So here at this point, there is traffic congestion, a lot of congestion. So we need to address this issue. So I suggested, okay, let us build a flyover. You understand a flyover? Sorry, messed it up. A flyover or a bridge, whatever you call it. So we're going to construct, going to connect point A, B by a flyover. I hope you appreciate this is a nice way to solve the problem at hand, congestion. Okay. Now I have a question. Can you think an alternate way? Can you suggest another way of addressing the problem at hand, which is the problem, don't forget, is traffic congestion? Any views?
Discouraging more cars, maybe with some norms that you can't be.
Encourage, yeah. So what is that? Encourage public transportation. That's what you meant?
Yep.
Something like
Maybe
that. Okay.
reroute the heavy vehicle to some other way.
Okay, reroute traffic. Okay, makes sense.
Subway also should be.
Subway. Why not a subway? Let me record one or two of them. Subway, I record first. Okay. Yes. At subway or a tunnel, whatever you call it. Yeah, that's what you meant, right?
Yes.
Reroute. Somebody said reroute the traffic. Okay. Reroute, alternate route or something like that. Yes. Any other suggestions? Think.
Put toll.
Sorry, what?
Toll. Put a toll so reduce. So you need to pay.
Toll.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's another way to discourage people taking the route, right? Okay. So have some
parking
toll.
fees, high parking fees.
Toll tax, yeah. Collect toll tax. No, we're not parking. No, I mean you meant toll tax, maybe. Okay. Have high toll tax. Yeah.
High toll tax. That is
high toll tax. Okay.
The other thing can be widen the road. I mean,
okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
You can
Why
improve
not?
on, yeah.
Widen the road. Say it's a 60 feet road. Imagine. Let's make it 200 feet. Okay. Yeah, that would also be some way to ease out the traffic.
Make the path one way.
Make it a one way. All right. Okay, wonderful. I don't know more. We already have lots of options. Okay. So now come back to this section. In the business options heading, I'm going to mention this. The following options were considered: flyover, subway, reroute, toll tax, widen the road, one way, all of them. I write. And then next, we are going to state which of these is being recommended and why. So we wrote the following 5-6 options were considered. And then we say out of these, we recommend which one? Say flyover. And why also? You would include that. Now, you might wonder, one question could be, if we were to go for flyover, why are we talking about all other options? Well, the answer to that is, see, what we want, whoever creating the business case, we want to ensure that we give due consideration to various alternatives that were available. Or in other language, what should not happen, somebody suggested flyover, everybody got carried away. No, not a good idea. Maybe there's a better, more economical way to address the problem at hand. We had better pursued that. So that's the reason we mandate, to include what alternatives were available and recommend the best one. Okay. The next section, cost benefit analysis, as the name suggests. Here is straight. We're talking about the profitability of the project. We compare what is the investment versus what is the returns. So we're going to put it in financial terms. So use any of the matrix you want. Use ROI, payback, NPV, any financial matrix, up to you. Like I said, ROI of the project would be 30%. Or somebody said net profitability of the project would be, this many billions. Okay, whichever way. But this is where, and this is the most important section of the business case. I hope you appreciate ROI, right? That's what, after all, matters. That's the most important factor which would influence our decision making. Yeah. And then we also add what are some of the major risks in this undertaking. Major risk. Hey, do you realize risk when it comes to decision making, whether we should undertake the project or not? Risk is a major consideration. Not just ROI. Say, here is a project which is very attractive ROI. How much? 55%, quite attractive. But say the project is very risky. I'll tell you how risky. There's only a 20% probability of success. Only 20%. I'm not in. I would prefer a project which is less ROI, maybe 35%, but more safe project, 80-90% probability of success. I hope I'm making sense. All I'm trying to sell is when it comes to decision making, amount of risk is very much a consideration. So that's why we take care to include what are the major risks in this investment. Some people even add what are the major constraints and assumptions. You can, lesser important, but could be also documented in the business case. So this is the template for a business case. I mean, or rather the contents of a business case. Okay, so that was everything about, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, one question. So based on cost benefit analysis and risk analysis, so can we put the recommendation at the last as a conclusion, or we recommend something and after that do the cost benefit analysis and risk analysis? So is it not on the recommendation? So is it not that we consider 2-3 options and based on that going there?
Okay. What I have to say in this regard is, first of all, the order of content doesn't matter. If you want to take the recommendation to the end, feel free to do that. It doesn't make much of a difference. But one second thing I would say, whether you put it in whatever order doesn't matter, but this analysis must definitely be done before recommending, no doubt. So you would be looking at the cost, benefit, and risk of all the options when you're making the decision on the, whichever is recommended. That must be done. Yeah, feel free if you want to bring recommendation to them. So order is not important. Did that answer your question? If you have a follow, feel free.
Oh, DJ, when we talk about cost benefit analysis, we do it for all the available options or only for the option that we chose?
Okay, good question. The answer to that, look, you would do it for all the options, but point to be noted, you will do it for all the options, but then under this head, cost benefit analysis, here you're expressing for the chosen option.
Okay.
Okay, but you must have done that cost benefit analysis for other options also, and it may be somewhere you provide a reference to that. You may not include all of the details here in the business case document. You did it somewhere itself where you can, provide a reference for that. Okay, did that answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that was everything about business case. So the most important one, what is the purpose of business case? To seek funding approval. Go, no-go decision making. I hope you appreciate, you go to anyone, say any organization, or say you have a great business idea and you're looking for funding. You go approach some venture capitalist for funding. You know what document does this VC want? Business case. This is the document that the world wants to decide whether they will undertake or not. You will create a business case and submit. Yeah, that's the purpose. Okay, some cost benefit analysis techniques. Would you be interested in learning? They won't ask this in the exam. But if you're interested, I can spend some time. So what's your preference? Any preference?
Yes, I think we can go. Maybe a short brief, some knowledge.
Okay, fine. I'll then touch upon quickly. Don't expect a question on this, but yeah, okay. ROI. So these are some, what are these, by the way? These are techniques to perform cost benefit analysis or profitability calculation, which can be done as part of creating a business case. ROI, let's look at that. Return on investment is a very common way, a technique employed. Now, how do we compute ROI? Let's take a simple example to compute ROI. Say I have some proposed initiative and here's the data given. This initiative or this project, whatever you call it, has an initial investment of 25,000. Okay, this is the day one investment. We also use the term for this. We call it as CapEx. You understand CapEx? Capital expenditure. Okay, so capital expenditure is the bulk of expense, that happens at the beginning of the project. So that capital expense is for this project, 25,000. And then year-wise data is given for inflow. You understand inflow, outflow? Inflow means your revenues, your earnings, while outflow is your expenses. All right. So year-wise data is given for this proposed initiative. Look at that. So year one, we're expecting a revenue or inflow of 9,000. While, okay, these yearly expenses, call them as OPEX, we call them as operational expense. So the day one investment we call as CapEx, and these annual expenses can be termed as operational expense, abbreviated as OPEX. Okay, so the data is there. Now this is the given. Now question is calculate ROI. See, how would you calculate ROI? First thing, you would calculate the return. Return is equal to inflow minus outflow. That is your return. That is your revenues minus your expenses, outflow. Okay, so that is your return. So you see year one, what is the return? 7,000, 9 minus 2. Year 2, 10 minus 2, 8,000. Year 3, 16 minus 4, 12,000. So here are the year-wise return we have calculated. Return, not profit. Yep. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to calculate what is the average annual return. So average is add up the return for all the years. I mean, here 3 years divided by 3. That gives you the average annual return. I'll call it as average annual return, AAR. Okay. It's just added up and divided by 3. Now, here's the formula for ROI. Let me write the formula for ROI. ROI formula is average annual return, which we calculated as 9,000 in this particular project, and then divided by CapEx. The denominator is that CapEx or that initial investment. Give me a sec. Yeah. CapEx or initial investment, which is in our example 25,000, and multiply with 100 to translate to a percentage. So if you place the values in the formula, here it is. So average annual return 9,000, the CapEx or initial investment is 25 into 100. That comes to 36%. So ROI of the project is 36%. So this is how we calculate ROI for any project. I hope this is understood. If somebody has a question, welcome. This can be definitely used for decision making, right? So you can use ROI to compare projects also. So project A ROI is 36%, project B ROI is say 42%. So which is better? Obviously, higher the ROI, a better opportunity it presents. Okay. That's one. Then another one was payback period. A payback is pretty straightforward. Payback in simple language is the time required for break even. I mean, the time it would take for the project to get back its investment. Let's say, okay, let's say some project requires an initial investment of 100,000. Okay, you spend this initially. And here are the year-wise return that you get. Okay, year 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me give some values. Year 1, you're generating a return of 20. Year 2, generating 30,000. Year 3, you're generating 50,000. Then year 4, you are generating 40,000. Then there's year 5 and more. Maybe I'm not interested. So here are the year-wise return you're getting. Now somebody asks you, what is the payback period of project A? You would answer it as 3 years. How 3 years? Watch out. It takes us 3 years to get back our initial investment. Add up 20, 30, and 50. So this is where you get back your 100,000, which was your initial investment. This time, 3 years, is known as payback period. Very simple. So what would you prefer, a shorter payback or a longer payback? That's very simple, right? Shorter payback. Shorter the payback period, the better it is. Yeah. Okay. Then moving on to one more, net present value. Hey, before I start NPV, one thing, The other two metrics we talked about this far, like ROI, payback, they suffer from one drawback. You know, one of them, what is the drawback? Watch. Time value of money was not factored. Would you understand time value of money?
The
Say,
inflation.
yeah, so $10,000, say, today is worth 3 years down the line. It's not going to be $10,000, right? Money depreciates. So that was not factored if you try to recall in ROI and payback. NPV is relatively better in the sense that here we do factor the time value of money. Let's say, how do we calculate NPV? Here is an example. Say, some project again, some data is given. Have a look. This project requires an initial investment of 10,000, and here are the year-wise cash inflows and outflows given. Okay, 50, 70, 50, and outflows are here. You see the values. Now, question is calculate NPV. How do we do? First step, calculate return. Return is simple: inflow minus outflow. That's the return. So as is done, year 0, no inflow. So this is minus 10,000. Year 2, subtract. The values are not correct. 70,000. No, 30,000. Sorry, the values are messed up. I'll just write K. So 70,000 minus 10,000 is 70, right? So 60,000. Third year, 40,000. Okay. So these are the, these are the returns we calculated. That's pretty straight. Then, okay, watch. We calculate the returns now. One way to judge would have been, let us add up and see what is the net return. We could have done that. Similar is what we did in the previous ones. But here what I'm saying is, watch. These all returns, these are future values of money. I mean, for example, this 30,000 in year 1. This return you would generate not today, 1 year down the line. This 60,000 you're making 2 years in future, and this 3 years after. So they are all at different times in future. So not at the same page to be able to add them. So hence in NPV, what you do, you are now going to translate these returns to their present value. So present value means is worth as of today. Say you're going to get a return, a sum of money of say 30,000 after 3 years. If I ask you, tell me what is this worth today, today's value, present value. It won't be 30, it would be some less. Right? Okay. So how do we translate that? We'll use this simple formula. Watch. Present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus R to the power N. Here in this formula, present value means that returns worth as of today. And future value is that future earning we're going to generate in future. And in the denominator R, this is the market rate of interest. You go check whatever is the market rate of interest. Yeah. And N is number of years in the formula. Hey, this is compound interest formula. You must have read in your school days. Okay. Compound interest formula. Okay, very well. Now using this, you can translate any future earning. Like look at this, 30,000 we are generating 1 year from now. Its present value would be, if I using that formula, watch, present value will be equal to future value 30,000 divided by 1 per R. For simplicity, I'm taking the market rate of interest as 10%. Assume whatever it is you can take. Okay, say it is 10%. So 10% is 0.1. Okay, so 1 plus R to the power N. N is the number of years. Now watch, this is for year 1, so N becomes 1. So as the calculator would do. Okay, so you get some value. Likewise, you translate for all the years using this formula. So here, watch, we have translated all future earnings to today's value or its present value. Now what? Last thing, what is NPV? NPV stands for net present value. Net means add up for all the years. It came to something, whatever. This is what is NPV. So this is how you compute NPV. And the inference now. Say for some project, I'll just clean it up. Say for some project, you calculated NPV and the NPV comes to, so the NPV was say 1.8 millions. What does that mean now? Very simple. NPV denotes the magnitude of profit. NPV for 1.8 million means we are going to generate a profit of 1.8 million from this project. That's what it means. While in some case, say for some project, NPV equals to 0. What does that mean? No profit, no loss. On the contrary, if some project you got NPV you computed comes to minus $50,000, what does that mean? Hey, you're going to lose money in the project, 50,000. Okay, so this is how you calculate NPV and use it for decision making. I'll pause for a while. So these were some costs. Yeah, go ahead.
DJ, there might be some instances wherein you might lose money on projects, but you still go ahead and pursue it, like what we were talking in the NPS terms. That, yeah, because it will not be quantifiable in terms of money, money regards that what will be the benefit out of the project. However, we still pursue it because we want to improve our customer experience.
Completely agree to that. So this technique is only from a financial perspective. I completely agree. There are projects you take up where there is no such return monetary benefit you do. You are doing a project to improve your brand image. No returns, but we are doing for some other benefit. Or another project which is a legal compliance requirement. No returns, but it's a mandatory project. You cannot help. So this all calculation is from a profitability perspective only.
Sure.
True. Anybody got another question? All right, then I'll move on. We talked about business case at length. Now, another business document, benefits management plan. Okay, benefits management plan. These two documents we call as business document. Yeah. Now, before I talk about that, hey, I have a question for you. Try this. This is a very important question. Hope you understand the question is self-explanatory. Try them. Try this.
It will be sometime after completion.
Okay, we have some vote for this. I would love to hear answers from everyone. Hope you get the question. We're simply asking you the timing of benefits. And watch one thing. When you're answering the question, do not restrict yourself to a single benefit or a single project.
It could be all.
Think at large. Any project, any benefit. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody
I'll
said
go with
all.
the option B.
Yeah, it could be all.
Okay.
Yeah, depends on project actually.
Depends on project. Okay, so we have another option as all of the above. Many people want this. So what's the right answer?
Yeah,
Somebody
all of
said
the
B also.
all of the above. Yeah.
Okay, the right answer to the question is all of the above. All of the above are possibilities. Now, don't tell me in my project it was only sometime. It was only C. Okay, or maybe some other. Can happen. I don't deny that. But then I'm generalizing. I can give you examples of all of them. So point is, when can benefits accrue in a project environment? During, one by one. How is it during? Hey, nobody for during, is it? Nobody voted. All of the above means you voted for A as well. Anybody has an example where you found benefits were achieved? Some benefits were achieved during the project. Anyone has an example?
Let's say you're trying to basically reduce down the instances of bugs overall whenever you're making changes in the product. Ultimately, even during the project, you'll start realizing that, you know what, the bugs are starting to go down. Maybe at some point in time.
Adding
See,
the
you're
new
basically
features.
fixing the project. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Who else was adding?
Yeah, I can add to Pradeep's point. So during the project, if we are adding new features to a client, it can be a feature requirement for any other client, and we can bid for any new other clients. So in between, we will find new clients also.
Okay, that was a benefit of the project. Yes, could be a benefit of the project. True. Okay, so I hope you're convinced. During we have a lot of examples, like when you go for Agile and all. Okay, so then you don't wait till the end of the project. You go for frequent releases, don't you? So we build the product, you know, some features. We go live, start using and achieving some benefits. while more enhancement, feature addition is happening in future sprints and all. So during is a possibility. Right at the end of the project, think about my flyover project. You remember that flyover? Hey, what's the benefit of flyover project? I'll tell you. Benefit is 80% reduction in time to commute. So whatever time it currently takes to commute between point A to B, after the flyover is built, there'll be 80% reduction in time to commute. I hope you appreciate this, the benefit. One of the benefits, I mean. Now, when are we going to achieve? Right at the end of the project. We took 10 months to build the flyover. This morning, the flyover is done. We commissioned the flyover. Right away, we achieved the benefit. This morning itself, 80% reduction in timeline has happened. You don't need 6 months to achieve this benefit, right? While come to the third one, sometime after completion, why not? In fact, while the right answer is all of the above, but if you ask me, out of these options, which is mostly the case, I would say third one is more common than option A and B. So sometime after completion, look at that example. Orders should be processed 30% faster. I said this is the benefit. We're building that order management system, new one. Now, think about it. When are we going to achieve it? See, our project is over. I go deploy the new order management system in operations today. People started using it. You realize people are not going to produce or generate orders 30% faster now. There's a learning curve. It will take 2 months, 3 months after go live for people to reach to that mark of 30% faster processing, right? So that's an example of some time after completion, 2 months, 3 months, whatever time. And this is quite common. Okay, so summarizing then, the answer to this question is all of the above. I hope we take this one. If somebody is not in agreement, I would love to discuss. Then let me bring you back. Benefits management plan. Hey, what is the document and what's the role? Let's understand this way. We'll start from here. Look, in the business case, you remember, you talked about benefits. Here in the business case, you said these are 6, 7 benefits we have. You claimed them, right? Now, which was very attractive, and the management gave you a go-ahead looking at these benefits, okay? Projected benefits. Now, I'm sure you can appreciate that the senior management would be very much keen to see that somebody is indeed measuring and reporting on these benefits, right? They would be keen to see whether these claimed benefits were indeed realized or not, right? To that regard, we prepared this document, benefits management plan. So in one line, I would say, what is the purpose of this document here? This document is actually a plan around how do we measure and report the benefits, okay? So it's going to support, I'll put it this way. This plan supports measurement and reporting of benefits, okay? So in terms of content, have a look, target benefits. Say target means list of benefits. Taken from business case. The ones we talked about, these are the benefits. Same, copy and paste there. Meaning the scope of the plan is measurement and reporting of these 6, 7, as many benefits. The strategic alignment. Okay, I hope you appreciate each benefit, say benefit 1, benefit 2, each benefit will help achieve some strategic goal, directly or indirectly, to contribute towards achieving some strategic goal of the organization. That we map here, okay? Then time frame, okay, we just spoke. Timing of benefits could be during, could be right at then, could be sometime after completion. So for each benefit, you specify the timeline. When can we expect that? Like I wrote, benefit 1, this would be end of phase 1 of the project. That's the timing. Talk about benefit 2, this would be 3 months after go live. Yeah, as an example. So for every benefit, you'd have a time frame so that we know when to measure and report on that. Then there we got benefits owner. Owner is one who is going to be accountable for that benefit. We would assign the responsibility of that benefit to someone. So whoever is accountable would see to it that this benefit is realized, would do everything to ensure that it is realized, indeed. And if you wonder who can this benefit owner be, I would say this guy would mostly come from that operational area which is going to receive that benefit. For example, in my order management system, benefit was orders would be processed 30% faster. Now give it a thought. Who is going to achieve that benefit? We got a sales marketing team. These guys are going to process orders. So they're going to be achieving the benefit. So what I do, I get a senior person from the sales marketing department, maybe the marketing head itself, or some senior person, and I'll make this guy the benefit owner. Because this person is most capable enough to ensure that this benefit is indeed realized on the ground. Okay. Assumptions. Any assumptions basis which you made projections of the benefit could also be added. Any risk that could prevent achievement of benefits, risk related to benefits. Why are we documenting? So that we know and we address them. Okay, so as to ensure that we achieve the benefits to the fullest scale. All right. Yeah, the benefit owner, in fact, would make sure that these risks are well managed. Well, so that's all about benefits management plan. We saw the contents, couple of things. When is it created? Along with business case. You remember I said business case is prepared pre-project, prior to initiation. Same time, these two documents are produced, together or in parallel, immediate sequence rather. And this document would be maintained all through the project. Very well. So that was everything about benefits management plan. If anybody got a question, that's welcome. Okay, all good this far. Fair enough. Now, we'll touch upon the next topic, a bit on development approach. Call it development approach or call it as life cycle models. Okay, let's see. So, use the term development life cycle or development approach all the same. So we see these are the kind of life cycle models that are available. They're compared here. I'll use this slide. So we have predictive at one end to agile at the other one. And in between, we got iterative and incremental kind of life cycles. Okay, so these are some. Let me speak a little bit. Many of you would know these life cycles, just in case not. Don't worry, we'll speak. So predictive life cycle first. Predictive, or there are many alternate terms we associate, call it as traditional. Traditional because this is the one that was being traditionally used. Or in the IT, they use the language, if you heard, waterfall model, if you heard. Okay, so that's like predictive. Waterfall, traditional, predictive, whatever you call it. Now, the way it works, look, in this kind of life cycle, we do a detailed requirement gathering upfront. Right at the beginning of the project, we're going to do a detailed requirement gathering. And then we're going to freeze the requirement. Yeah. Thereafter, we'll put up a detailed project plan. Okay, a project plan we're going to put up, and rest of the project is about just following through this plan. Okay, so we would, follow through this plan. Now, the drawback of this approach. So as I said earlier, before I go to the drawback, this is the life cycle that existed in the past. That's the only life cycle we had been following. Then a lot of people burned their hand using this predictive life cycle and thus immersed other kind of life cycles. So what are some drawbacks, Luke? Number one, change. These life cycles are not suited for change. So in such life cycles, the change means replanning is required. Okay, change cannot be accommodated. And another one, okay, so it's like somebody goes and does the requirement gathering, put up a detailed requirement document, is signed off, and the team is building the product basis this document. Now, what happens is that the team never spoke to the customer, okay, never understood, collected feedback and all. They're developing the product basis the documents. And what we find later is there is a big mismatch in the expectations. So what the team builds, so the customer sees, oh my God, what did you build? So there's a big mismatch, right? So a lot of people burn their hand using this kind of a life cycle. then evolved iterative and incremental kind of life cycles. Let's have a look at these life cycles now. The difference here in these life cycles, what do you do? Unlike your predictive, you don't build the product in one go. In predictive, you do that. Okay, your product is never ready before the end of the project. Okay, but in here, you divide the development into number of iterations. Okay, so say iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, as many you want. And this is one thing in both iterative and incremental life cycle. And even here, requirement is being gathered at the beginning. Okay, and in case of iterative life cycle, look what happens. Here, you go ahead and perform iteration 1, right? Now, end of the iteration 1, whatever you build, you are reaching out to the stakeholders and collecting feedback. Okay, so feedback is collected and it is going to be incorporated in the subsequent iterations. So this is one approach, here. So the feedback is taken and incorporated. And also watch in terms of planning. Even here in iterative incremental, you got a project plan. Okay, you have a plan like predictive, but the difference is watch in my project plan is only iteration 1, which is planned to a detail level right now. The other 2 iterations, 2 and iteration 3, they are only high level planned, not planned to the detail level. High level plan. So the intent is then, when are we going to plan iteration 2 in details? Here, end of iteration 1, you sit here and now do the planning, detailed planning for iteration 2. Likewise, at the end of iteration 2, here we'll sit and do the detailed planning for iteration 3. Okay, so this is how it works. Yeah. So then summarizing, what is the benefit of iterative incremental life cycle? Number one, changes to an extent can be accommodated. I said to an extent, okay, can be accommodated. Unlike predictive, which was completely closed to changes. Yeah, stakeholders are involved regularly to take feedback and use them to improve the product. Okay, then I'll take you to the other extreme, which is agile. Just give me 10 seconds. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption. So it's talked about iterative and incremental. Now look at agile. The other extreme. Agile is both. Okay, here the difference. Even in agile, we have iterations, just like the earlier two. But the difference is watch. Here, iterations are rapid and so many. Number one. Like in iterative incremental, you have 2, 3, 4 large iterations. But in agile, you got very rapid iterations. When I say rapid, it's like 2-week iterations, 3-week, 4-week iterations. And how many? Lots of them, 10, 15, as many required. So that's one. Iterations are rapid and so many, number one. Number two, change. Here, there's no concept of freezing the requirement. So in case of Agile, you have some requirements known at the beginning, whatever requirements known. But point to be noted, the requirement would be evolving. You don't freeze the requirement at all. So here requirements are, changes are welcome all through the project. Anytime change can come and you're ready to accommodate that. So that's the kind of approach in case of Agile. I give a high level view. Now we'll learn a little bit more about them. This table best explains the differences between, these life cycle models. Have a look at this one. Now we'll compare them under these themes. Requirements. Look at that. So in predictive or waterfall model, traditional one, the requirement is fixed. Okay. Remember I said that you do the requirement gathering, get a sign off, and the requirement is frozen. Okay, no change. I mean, if a change is needed, then replanning, formal change control, all that would apply. But in all others, watch, take a look. The requirement is dynamic. I mean, requirements can change all these life cycles. But the extent of change, yeah, that can be compared. Agile changes big time, but in iterative incremental also some amount of changes can happen. So that's why. Next it says, look at these activities. In predictive, we are saying activities are performed once for the entire project. Okay, by activities, I mean, okay, say in predictive, you would do this, okay, requirement. Once requirement is done, then you go and design the product. Then once design is done, then you go and build it. Okay, and then you go test it. These I mean as activities, this requirement, design, build, test. Look, they are performed once for the entire project. That's how it works in predictive. I mean, you did the design, you finalize design, then you jump to build. You don't come back to design ever. Okay, so these are performed only once. And now look at incremental next. We'll come to iterative later. Here also once, but the difference is here it's once for the given increment. Okay, not the entire project. Meaning, so in case of incremental, what I meant is, let me use this space. Okay, so we have iteration 1, we have iteration 1, we have 2, and there are more. So now for each iteration, okay, iteration 1, we are going to design, then we are going to build, then we are going to test. So look at this. In iteration 1, design is done once, build once, test once only. Okay. So, but again, for iteration 2, we will again have design for iteration 2, then again build for iteration 2, test again we'll have. So these activities are repeated in incremental watch. Okay, they're repeated for each iteration. That is what was stated here. I hope you understand. Okay, this we saw. But come to iterative and agile here. Here interesting, repeated until correct. Repeated until correct. So in meaning, in agile or even in iterative, yeah, these activities are repeated, not once. Meaning, okay, you did design, go to build. During build, you can come back and redesign. You keep on doing that. So there is another difference. Delivery, this state. In case of predictive and iterative, both of them, okay, we go for single delivery, one-time delivery, no partial releases in other language. This could raise a question that if I were to go for single delivery, why did we have the concept of iterations in iterative life cycle? Why did we have iterations then? Well, the answer to that is we had iterations for different purpose. Yeah. But delivery, your product, your product is never ready. Okay, not before the end of the project. Yeah. So that is iterative. Predictive we saw, single delivery, and iterative. So why did we go for iterations here? Sorry, I forgot. I was telling you that to seek feedback. So the idea is iteration 1 done. Whatever we built, we built a partially built product we have. We take it to the stakeholders, get their feedback. Get their feedback and incorporate them. Thus improve the product. That is my goal. In iterative, we want to get feedback, identify improvements, and apply them, thus improving our product. That's the goal. Yeah. But come to incremental and agile. In both the cases, frequent, smaller deliveries. Not no one-time delivery. You're going for frequent deliveries. Yeah, partial deliveries. And then come to the last one, the goals. What's the goal in each life cycle? Before I talk about the goal, please note one thing. Goals such as completing on time, within budget. These are generic goals. These are anyways there in every project. So what is stated under goal, please note, is the main focus area. What is the major focus area for them? Yeah. Come to predictive. What is the goal? Manage cost. Meaning we got a rigid budget. Okay, so you respect that budget. Yeah, I mean, and how do you achieve that? By upfront detailed planning and proper executing and all, you ensure that this is achieved. That would be predictive life cycle. Come to iterative now. Here, correctness of solution. Correctness of solution to mean excellent product. Okay, we want an excellent product. So that's our goal, that would delight the customer. Then come to incremental. What is the goal? Here the goal, again different. Speed. Speed means we want to deliver fast. We don't want to wait till the end of the project. Okay, so that's my goal. Speed, we want to deliver fast. You understand this incremental? Like I'll give you a simple example. Say we need to come up with a say residential complex. So we'll have 500 apartments built in all, or flats, apartments, what do you call it? Okay. Yeah, so this is my project. We have to construct 500 flats, coming up with a complete residential complex. Now, watch out. If I use predictive, look, what would be predictive much? Predictive would be like, this is a 3-year project, okay? It runs for 3 years. You would start off with work such as excavation, then you dig the, build the foundation, then you erect the towers. There'll be say 10 towers in all, each having 50 flats. Okay, so parallelly do that. Thereafter, we'll go to the interiors and all. And it's like at the end, towards the end of the 3rd year. Here is where all my 500 flats are ready to be delivered to the customer. And what to be noted, it was never ready beforehand. It is only ready here at the end of the project. This would be predictive. Now, if I were to deliver the same project using incremental, look at that. Incremental, how would it look like? Here, what we do, remember, what is our goal? Pace is our goal. We want to deliver fast. So what I would do here, again, it's a 3-year project. But the idea is what we do, we started with basic work like excavation, erecting the towers. But what we did, look, we are not erecting all 10 towers together. So what we focused is, watch, here, in 1.5 year, midway. Here, so we started up with excavation, other basic work, foundation and all, and we focus on 3 towers only out of 10. So we're not starting them all. We work and focus on 3 towers only. And by the end of 1.5 years, we have 150 flats ready to be handed over to our customer. Then you take up another iteration wherein you focus on, say, another 3-4 towers. So you delivered another 200 flats here. And once all iterations are done, of course, everything would be delivered. So this would be incremental kind of life cycle. So I hope you understood that we want to release fast. Pace is our goal. Then the last one, what is the goal of Agile? Okay, the best way to understand Agile is both iterative and incremental. Add up. That's Agile. So in other words, the goal of Agile is both correctness of solution, that is a great product, as well as speed. You want to deliver fast. So that is what is written. Add up. That's what is written in different language. Providing customer value by frequent deliveries and feedback. So by frequent deliveries, so the speed, and through feedback, correctness of solution. So Agile, the goal is both excellent product and deliver fast. Well, so this was a little bit of comparison within the life cycles. I think I should pause here to take any questions you might have this far. All good?
Yes, teacher, all good so far.
Okay. So the continuum of life cycle, see, we get this one way to visualize. So what would be the right life cycle? Degree of change. And what is the x-axis is degree of change. Change to requirement, how volatile the requirements are. And the frequency of delivery. How frequently are you going to release? Okay, so if it is, watch, like the project has frequency of delivery is, no, we're just going to deliver once at the end of the project, no frequent releases. And degree of change, minimal changes. We have rigid scope available, not much of change. Then which life cycle is suitable? Go for predictive. Okay. And if both are high, look at that. Rate of change is high. We're expecting a lot of changes. And we'll go for very frequent deliveries and all. Then the other extreme, if both are high, agile is a good idea. And say, look at this, where incremental and iterative, look at that as well. So where is incremental a good idea? Rate of change? No, we're not expecting changes. Requirement is kind of stable, not much changes. However, frequency of delivery would be high. I mean, we'll go for intermediate releases and all. Then incremental is a good idea. On the contrary, look at another example. Here, where is iterative a good idea? Degree of change is high. We're expecting a lot of changes. But what about delivery? No frequent delivery. We will be delivering only once. Okay, end of the project. So their iterative is a good idea. So we have iterations to improve the product, but no partial release. Release would only happen at the end of the project. Okay, this one stasis complexity model. Here is another guidelines on what kind of life cycle would be suited, basis these parameters. Okay, look at this stasis model. What it says, x-axis is technical degree of uncertainty. You understand? And y-axis is requirement uncertainty. So requirement uncertainty, I hope you understand. I mean, requirement is volatile. We're expecting a lot of changes and all. Okay. And what is the x-axis? Technical degree of uncertainty mean we don't know how to build the product. We don't have a clear path visible. Okay. We don't know that. We may know it somewhere and elsewhere, we hardly know that. That's what is technical degree of uncertainty. Now watch, if both are low. I mean, both are low means requirement is kind of stable, not much of changes we're expecting, and technical uncertainty is low. I mean, things are very certain. We know clearly how to build the product. We have a view of that. We have done in the past. If that's the case, such projects can be called as simple projects. And how to best manage them? Linear means you're predictive. Another term for that. Your predictive waterfall traditional that I talked about is more suitable. Okay. Now then, look at this. If they're reasonably high, okay, so like you find complicated, complex. If this is the case, I mean, they're towards the higher side, higher requirement uncertainty and high technical uncertainty also. Then which kind of life cycle is more suited? Adaptive approaches work. Hey, we see a new term. What is this term, adaptive? I'll go back. Look, I said this slide is better. So we have predictive at one end, and a term we use for all the three other life cycles. We call them as adaptive. So broadly, there are two types of life cycles, predictive versus adaptive. Within adaptive, there are iterative, incremental, and agile. And so I hope the term adaptive is understood. And why do we call it as adaptive? Use the term because these life cycles adapt. I mean, they welcome changes, identify improvements and implement. Okay, so we call them as adaptive. Let me come back. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If it is a complicated or complex project, more adaptive approaches would work. Okay, and come to this one, chaos. Here, like technical uncertainty is very high, and even the requirement uncertainty is very high. Both are very, very high. So such projects we use the term chaos for that, and these are fundamentally risky. That's what he's saying. I mean, no matter what approach you apply, these indeed are risky projects. Okay, so that was a little bit on stasis model for life cycle selection. Any questions this far?
No, Devash. Thank you. Yeah, good.
Okay. Well then. Very well. Yeah. Now, quick introduction to Agile. We haven't spoken about Agile yet. Hey, before I start off, I wanted to ask you a question. Can you score yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 on your knowledge on Agile? I mean, 0 to mean Agile is an alien term for you, and 10 means you are an expert in Agile. So please, I would like to see everyone's score. The reason I ask, it would help me decide the approach to cover this Agile part.
0.
Okay, 0 I heard. Fine. Seeing scores coming in. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. 1, 0 also we heard. Okay, that helps. Get a fair idea. So I think most people give a score of 3, 4. 3, 4 is fine. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Okay, but I see there are a couple of people 0 and 1 also. Not a problem. So I'll assume, hence, while I'm covering these topics, I'll assume as if Agile were an alien term for you and cover them, so that those who have no background can also, understand it. All right, let's look at this one. So little background, where does Agile come from? Okay, something called Agile Manifesto. Have a look. It was in the year 2001. Some people from the software development industry, frustrated with the traditional way of developing software, they met somewhere in the US, okay, to discuss the challenges pertaining to traditional software development and to identify better ways to build software. And the outcome of that meeting got popular as the Agile Manifesto. And the manifesto talks about this. See what these people said, watch. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. You got to understand this way. Like in your predictive life cycle, there's a lot of emphasis on having well-defined processes, employing processes and tools. Okay. Now, what these people said, yeah, process tools are fine, but people, individuals, and interaction within them is very important. Okay, for a project to be successful, the team should be speaking to each other. Working software, next one, working software over comprehensive documentation. Once again, you relate this way, like in your predictive model. You would have a lot of documentation. You emphasize on creating hefty, large documents and all. Okay. Now, what these people said is that, look, what does our customer want? Does the customer want documents? No. Customer wants a working software that they can take and use, and not these hefty documents. Hence, we should be focusing more on developing working software rather than wasting time on creating a lot of unnecessary documents. Okay, so that's another one. Then third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Look, this means, like in a predictive environment, you try to negotiate the contract, everything clearly black and white, to avoid any kind of confusion. And then once you negotiated a contract, that would guide your execution. So we'll deliver as per contract. Okay, that's what is the emphasis. But what these people said, okay, having a contract is definitely good, but then a good what? It's a necessity, in fact. But we should be collaborating with the customer constantly. Okay, what's the problem if you don't? There'll be mismatch in expectations, right? So hence these people said customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Then the next one, responding to change over following a plan. Again, think about your predictive model. In a predictive environment, what do? You come up with a detailed project plan, right? We discuss, and the rest of the project I have been telling you is following through this plan, right? But now talk about Agile. Here, we are saying responding to change is much important.
BJ, your voice has become very low, very feeble.
Oh, is it? Okay, sorry.
Now it's better.
Better? Oh, okay. So what I'm saying is responding to change. So as in predictive, I said, you have a rigid plan and you follow that, right? But this guy said, if you're not responsive to changes, then we're not helping the customer. So we can't follow a rigid plan. We got to be responsive to changes. Customers need would change, and hence we have to be responsive to that. So these are the 4 points that the manifesto talked about. So what's interesting is, look what it says. While there is value on the items on the right, meaning it's not that these are not valuable. Processes and tools, documentation, contract negotiation, having a plan, they're not bad. They provide value. But what this guy said is that we value the items on the left more than the ones on the right. That's what these people said. So this got popular as the Agile Manifesto. Well, by the way, while I talk about this, but do not expect a direct question in the exam. They'll never ask a question like, which is one of the points in manifesto. No, there's no direct questions in the exam. Questions would be all situational, we'll see. Yeah. So it's just good to know, no direct questions though. Okay, and then from this manifesto, the 12 principles of Agile emerged. Okay, here are the 12 principles of Agile. Okay, I'll touch upon each of these principles. Let's see. The first one, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery. So number one. So in Agile, unlike your predictive model, you don't go for a one-time delivery at the end. You go for frequent releases, right? Early and continuously, you keep delivering. Yeah, so that's one of the principles. Then second one, welcoming changing requirement. We just spoke. So in Agile, there's no concept of freezing requirements. So changes are welcome all through the project, even late during the development life cycle. Okay, and why do we want to be receptive to changes? If you're not, then we're not helping the customer. We won't provide customer with the competitive advantage. Yeah, so that's principle number 2, welcome changes. Number 3, delivering working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with a preference to shorter time scale. Okay, let's get this right. So very basics, Agile is about running a series of iterations. Okay, so equal size iterations. We'll run a series of them. Now, how long? Could be 2 weeks iterations, could be 4 weeks, up to you to decide. So this is what the third principle is about. We run a series of iterations, okay, and keep on delivering frequently. And the shorter the iteration, the better it is. Iteration is a time box. Hey, I had been using the term iteration. So let's understand, it's a time box of 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. That's principle number 3. Come to the fourth one now. In the meantime, do not hesitate to stop me if you do not understand any of the principle anytime. Feel free. Now the fourth one, business people and the developers must work together daily throughout the project. So unlike your predictive model, where the team is building the product basis documents, never seen the customer, never spoke to the customer. Here, no way. So we are very clear. The team building the product, they should be talking to the people in the business or the customer, to understand their expectations and all throughout maybe on a daily basis as required. They should be able to reach out to the people from business. So this would have the advantage of ensuring no mismatch in expectations, which is much seen in predictive kind of a life cycle. Move to the principle number 5, build projects around motivated individuals. Look, this is important. Motivated. So an Agile team happens to be way different than a traditional team. In the sense, okay, so here, the team working in Agile, they're self-motivated people. Okay, so unlike your predictive one. So these guys are knowledgeable workers, they're self-motivating, and hence do not micromanage them. So like in a predictive environment, you may choose to micromanage the team, but here micromanagement doesn't simply work. Okay, so instead of that, what we're going to do, we'll give them the right environment and support they need and trust them to get the job done. Okay, so this is the kind of environment, no micromanagement. These are self-motivated people. This aspect is quite different than predictive. The sixth one, the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face communication. So in simple language, in Agile, there is a lot of emphasis on face-to-face communication, is much emphasized. All right. Later on, as we move on, we'll see there are certain events, meetings, and all that will take place, in Agile, and there's a clear recommendation that they must happen in the face-to-face mode, right? Yeah. But then one question could arise now, that does that mean then the team has to be a co-located team? Can we not have a virtual team then? Well, virtual team is also possible, but then use technology there, video conferencing and all, to create that face-to-face kind of environment. So, but that is very much emphasized, face-to-face communication. The belief is that's the best way to communicate, so we should employ that. Principle number 7. Working software is the primary measure of progress. So this only means how do we measure progress? Okay, so how many lines of code you wrote? These are not real good true measures of progress. True measure of progress is if you are able to deliver working software consistently, that can be taken and actually used. That's progress. If the team is not able to deliver working software, that means they made no progress. So this is how we would measure progress, in Agile. Again, which is very different from predictive. In predictive, we don't have the concept of working software. Yeah. Now, principle number 8. Agile processes promote sustainable development. Okay, what is that now? Sustainable development. So the sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace. Okay, this is important. This means what should not happen is, say, in this iteration 1, the team delivered a lot of features, say 15 features they delivered. In the next one, they're barely able to deliver. Okay, it's just 3 to 4 features they delivered, say. So not an indicative of a good team. A good Agile team is one which is able to deliver equivalent amount of work, iteration over iteration, consistently. A fluctuating productivity, you link it to productivity. They have to maintain a constant productivity, across iterations. Fluctuating one is not indicative of good Agile team. Okay, that's what it means. Next, continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Okay, we'll begin from here. Remember, what is the goal in Agile? We compare the life cycle. You see, what is the goal? In Agile, the goal is both speed and the correctness of solution. So we want an excellent product and at the same time, deliver fast also. Well, my concern for now is excellent product. We want that. So if excellent product is the goal, the natural, we should adopt good engineering practices, good design practices. So Agile approaches vouch for good practices. So some of the time we'll touch upon, there are good software development practices and all, these be applied. Come to principle number 10. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done. Hey, what does this mean? This principle relates to prioritization. So let me use this whiteboard to explain. So, so this is our wish list of requirements in the project. These are all features we need, wish list. Now, what we're saying is you classify all these requirements, your wish list of requirement, into nice to have and must have. You categorize them. Okay, so you categorize them, okay, into nice to have and must have buckets. Okay, yeah. And the point is now, next thing, which is more important, this bucket nice to have better be maximized, while must have better be minimized. Okay, let's understand why are we saying. So we are classifying your requirement into nice to have and must have. See, understand this way. What if my must have bucket is large? You know, we have a lot of items in must have and less in nice to have. You know what? Then what it would mean is you're not truly focusing on what is a must have item. So what is the drawback of this approach? The drawback of this approach would be that you land up producing a lot of deliverables or a lot of outcomes, no, outputs, sorry. There'll be lots of outputs, but there will be, I messed it up, a lot of outputs, I mean, and there'll be less outcome. This is something we do not want ever in Agile. In Agile, our goal is what? Let me clarify. What we want here is more value. So we should be focusing on items or features that provide high business value. So what we want is less deliverables, okay, less deliverables and more value or outcome is what we want in Agile. And that is possible when we are working on must-have items that provide high business value. So this is what is to be the focus. So we are saying hence maximize the nice-to-have bucket, have a lot of items here and lesser items in must-have. In simple language, look, all we mean is you prioritize. In Agile, always the goal is high priority items first. Okay, low items that provide less business value take a back seat in Agile. Okay. So that was this principle. Now let me go back. Principle number 11. Base architectures, requirement and designs emerge from, look, another one, self-organizing team. See, an Agile team, we use these two terms quite often for Agile team. An Agile team is self-organizing, self-managing. Let me explain this way. Let's try answering these few questions in a predictive environment. Like, who does the detailed planning? The answer would be project manager. Who would assign tasks to the team? The project manager is going to assign, right? Who would set a target for the team? Hey, team, in the next 2 weeks, you're going to do this much of work. Again, the PM would do. I hope you appreciate, right? Likewise, all other stuff. Who identify risk and manages them? Project manager. Now, ask the same questions in Agile now. Please note, the answers have changed. I said the answers have all changed. When it is Agile, the answer to these questions is now team is going to do that. So who is going to do the detailed planning? Not the PM, it's the team. Who would assign work to the team? Nobody does. The team would assign the work to themselves. Who would set a target for the team? Again, nobody. The team would pick up their own target. Yeah, so that's what, is self-organizing, self-managing team. Okay, this aspect is way different than a predictive kind of a life cycle. The last one, at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective. So there's an event in Agile. We'll study that later. I'll just name it for now. Retrospective. At the end of every iteration, we're going to hold a retrospective, every iteration end. And in simplest language, this retrospective is a lessons learned exercise. Here, the team is going to reflect back. The team is going to discuss what's working for us, what is not working. Okay. What new thing shall we try in the next iteration? So what's not working, we need to adapt, change something there. So in simplest language, what comes out of retrospective is a plan for improvements. I mean, the team identifies, okay, here are 2-3 things, new things we're going to try out in the next iteration. So you continuously improve. So please note, continuous improvement is a constant agenda in Agile. So it's like every iteration, the team is going to make certain improvements. So in other words, as a team performs iterations, they keep improving. They get better and better, iteration over iteration. So these are the 12 principles in Agile. Once again, I explained them all, but there are no direct questions on which is a principle, no such question. Would you have a question on any of the principles? All right.
So
So
DJ,
far,
in an agile team, then what will the role of a PM look like? Because
I'll have to park it. We'll
okay.
talk up that discussion later. We'll definitely talk about it.
Okay.
All right. So far we touched upon the manifesto, the principles. Now, what is this agile mindset? Have a look. Agile mindset is defined by the 4 values. I said is defined by the 4 values. The 4 values in the manifesto, these ones, okay? Then guided by the 12 principles. So there were these 12 principles we just touched upon, and manifested by several practices. So let me explain this way. I said manifested by several practices. So it's like a lot of people from different parts of the globe took these values in the manifesto and the principles here and implemented in their own environment, and thus immersed several practices in Agile. Use the term practices or call them as methods or call them as frameworks, all the same. All the same, that these terms are interchangeably used. So I repeat, what happened is, multiple methods, practices, frameworks in Agile evolved. Here, some names, okay? So Agile, to be seen as a blanket term. It's a blanket term. One moment, please. Yeah, it's a blanket term used for various methods. Okay, this is what I was talking about, methods, practices, or framework. Okay, many of them. Okay, and one moment. Yeah. So these are some, Scrum being a very popular one. There are XP, Scrum Ban, and others. So Agile is an umbrella term used for them. First takeaway. And look at the bigger picture now. There's something called Lean, something called Kanban also. Kanban and Agile are subsets of Lean thinking. So one line about Lean. Lean concept is not new. That dates back to 1930s, I guess. Yeah. So which is coming from the manufacturing sector. And the core principle of Lean, in one line, I'll tell you, is this: eliminate waste. So anything that's not providing value to the customer is waste, and hence should be a target for elimination. That is the core principle of Lean. All right. And this is inherited by Agile and even Kanban. Again, some of the time we'll speak about something called Kanban board, which was introduced, again, coming from manufacturing sector long time ago. Okay, Kanban board. Yeah. So there's a bit of overlap also. There are some similarities, like both Lean and Kanban, they focus on eliminating waste. Both of them focus on small batch sizes. Okay. And a few other concepts we'll see. So there's the biggest picture. Sorry, not the bigger picture, not the biggest one. And okay, this done. So before I move on, is
Seems not able to hear you, Devashish. Yeah.
there was some issue? I know I was out. Okay. Sorry for that. I'm back now. Yeah. Okay,
I think you were asking some question, maybe.
Yeah. I was here. So a definable work is like where the requirements are known upfront. We know the detailed requirement, okay? And we're not expecting much of changes to happen, all right? This is what is definable work. And if that's the case, then what life cycle to adopt? Please do not use Agile. Traditional or predictive approach should be better, okay, in this case. And another kind of work, high uncertainty work. What is high uncertainty work? Where the rate of change is high. I mean, we have the requirements broadly known, but we're expecting a lot of changes to happen in the requirement. That's one. So rate of change is high, complex, uncertainty is high. And two types of uncertainty, let me talk about. One is requirement uncertainty. I mean, we're expecting changes. And also technical uncertainty means we are not very clear how to build the product. We don't have a clear path visible. You would explore and on the go, okay? Even that is not clear. Such work we call as high uncertainty work. And if that's the case, this is where Agile is a good idea. Agile would fit here because such work can immensely benefit from exploring feasibility in short cycles, quick adoption, frequent evaluation and feedback. Such high uncertainty work can immensely benefit from these. And we will see that Agile approaches are pretty much based on these aspects, you know, checking feasibility, short cycles, quick adoption, evaluation, and feedback. So high uncertainty work is where Agile is a good fit. I think I'll call it a day here. We're almost exhausted of time. And okay, we'll resume from this very point tomorrow. But before we call it a day, is there a question that I must take up? Any questions before we end the session?
Devashish, is the material, the PDFs that you have shared, is it same to the presentation that we are seeing, or the presentation is different?
Yes, every alphabet is same.
Okay, so yeah, okay.
Same one. Okay, any other questions you might have?
Yeah, thank you so much, Devashish, for the day one nice session. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, DJ, it was very knowledgeable. Just a request, DJ, like wherever I think you are covering it well, wherever exam questions are relevant for any particular slide, maybe if you can just emphasize more on that, it will be helpful.
Yeah, it will be great.
Okay, that I can finish up in one go. Questions would be from every corner, so don't bother. Where questions won't be there, I am highlighting, because where it will be there, there is no limit to that. So if you recall, I said no questions on this one.
Okay.
I said no questions on manifesto. I won't say where it would be because it's all through, except for where it is not. And you'll get a feel of questions once we do. So today we didn't get a chance to do questions because we couldn't complete environment. And tomorrow class will take up some questions. We'll start getting a feel of that. All right, so let me not hold you. If you have no questions, then thank you so much and for attending the session. See you tomorrow, same time. Do remember the same link would work. The meeting link would remain the same for all the 8 days of training, right?
Yeah.
All right.
DJ, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, DJ. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks, Sumit.
And will you share the